Okay. Welcome, guys. What's up? Can I take an order,
Jitto
please?
chicken egg war.
Can I take an
Wow, that
order,
was
please?
perfect.
That'd be 812, 812. How you guys doing? Welcome to this week's episode, this installment of the podcast.
The podcast ever.
Yes, I am Ahmed-san. Konnichiwa.
I am Giggle too.
I don't think we've ever really even introduced ourselves on here. Have we ever done that in an intro?
No, I don't think we actually have.
Well, there you go. The long-awaited introduction of ourselves. It's finally happened. Everything before this was just a big part of one long wait for the introduction. It was all a cold open. This whole show until now.
The prior episodes were just edging until the eventual booning that is this episode.
Yeah, it finally blew wide
What
open.
the fuck? I
What?
got this Febreze commercial going on in the background, and
Did
they
it
have.
spray as you said edging?
I think it did actually, yeah.
I
But
saw a mist, a
this
white mist.
girl, it's a black family, by the way.
Whoa.
This girl's wearing a
Whoa.
choker.
Why would a black family need Febreze particularly?
I don't know. Maybe it gets rid of the smoke smell.
Oh, well, yeah, because they don't know whether the smoke's on or not. So how would they know they need the Febreze though? Oh, can they see the smoke but not hear the detector?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would imagine.
They can smell the smoke. No, you wouldn't think that either. I don't know. Sometimes, you go to a person's house and it just smells like weed and fucking tobacco.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. You will never know how your house smells, generally speaking, unless you leave for a while and come back.
But aside from that, what I've found is that because when I was at one apartment, I eventually moved out of it, right? And then I took clothes with me, obviously, because it's my stuff. Now, there were clothes where I had I had already washed them there, packed them, and then I would leave them in my dresser for some time without wearing those specific clothes. I'd pull them out and they'd smell like the apartment.
What
And
did
I'd
it
be like,
smell
yeah,
like?
that's what it smelled like. And it rings a bell. It's not even the fact that it's oh, I've never smelled this smell. It's oh yeah, I remember this is what it smells like.
Was it the first time you walked in, you remember smelling that? Or is it over time, you're like, oh, this is that smell. I never knew I smelt it before, but I smell.
It might be a little bit of both. Maybe some more of the first, but if anything, it might be that you're just not thinking about the smell, but you are somehow recognizing it subconsciously. Might be like a dog. Dogs
smell.
do that.
Dogs got a smell to them.
They memorize those smells.
They do.
What do you think?
What?
What's with their brains having such a good store of smell? Is it just the fact that they're kind of like retards in the fact that they don't really know much, so there's just a lot more storage room specifically meant for that, so that they have something to act on.
I mean, I can remember.
I guess they don't technically act, but they react to things.
I can remember this smelling quite a lot.
Well, I'm not saying we don't remember it. I'm just saying that's probably what dogs are kind of known for. So I'm just thinking it's their mind is like a flash drive where it's very basic, and then there's a small folder where it's just smells. Whereas for us, there's a lot more folders that we actually have to sort through. So we might just consider, the brain might consider that something it doesn't necessarily need to remember.
So you're saying that dogs had to get nerfed?
They have to get nerfed?
They had to get nerfed.
Oh, had to. Well, how did they get? Oh, you mean intelligence wise?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for the smell buff.
That makes sense. Intelligence buff is kind of overrated, to be honest.
Is it?
No.
You want to be a retard but smell good?
I mean, preferably I like to smell good either way.
But, I meant have a good sense of smell.
I mean, that could be a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, but I remember dogs, one time they don't even care about smelling shit and all that. What's with that? They don't have a disgust for it.
Yeah, that's weird. I was gonna bring up, there's one time I was volunteering at a place for service hours or whatever, and every now and then I'd be like tasked with taking out the trash or whatever. Or no, this is at my old job actually. And what I would do is I would intentionally, whenever I knew that they were going to take out the trash, find a way to not be in the vicinity where my boss would say, "Hey, can you take out the trash?" Because that smell was just so awful.
Yeah. I mean, it's like somebody has to do it, but it's like, why should it be me?
Exactly. That's my thought
Right.
process on pretty much everything. Like if it's something like mundane, like, "Oh, can you put this up? Oh, can you make sure this is already?" Okay, cool. But when I'm being singled out for something that's very clearly undesirable, it's like, "Nah, that's not going to work."
Yeah. Like somebody has to stock the shelves at Walmart, but do I want to be the one doing it? You know, not necessarily.
No. I'll
You
record
remember
the
the whole
guy.
thing where it's like that lady, what the fuck was her name? She's like, Donald Trump, if you kick out all the illegals, who's going to be cleaning your toilet? It's kind of
No.
like that. It's like, why don't we just make the illegals do that stuff? I mean, come on. She's got a point. She's kind of low key spitting though.
What, just
Everybody was
make
saying,
them
"Oh,
do
look
all
at
the
her,
jobs?
gotcha. She's actually the real racist." Well, I mean, come on, think about it. Like, who would you rather have doing the toilets, you or just some guy from Mexico that wants to be doing it for money?
I'm not touching a toilet. That's not mine.
Well, exactly. You know, so like,
Unless
why
it's
don't
like
we
a
just?
hotel.
It's like these are the things, you know, that the Mexicans should be doing. So it's like, you know, it's why
Whoa.
not just let them? Why not just let them?
That is a charged statement. Okay, now let me ask you this. If a person is an illegal immigrant from, like, let's say, Ukraine or whatever, are they also expected to do the toilets?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, you know, are they asking to clean the toilets or not? Because I honestly, if the job's available and the person's asking to do it, they should do it. Is my statement here. So, you know, like a Mexican, you know, a general Mexican person would be willing to do that work for the pay that is being provided, you know, in order to provide for the family. Is the person from Ukraine as willing generally to do it? I don't know.
I would think not.
Now, what would a person from Ukraine generally be willing to do? Like star in a music video or
OnlyFans.
something? If it's a woman?
OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly. OnlyFans, right? So I mean, there's a market for that too. So I guess, you know, that's how they make do. But what about the guys? What are they
Is there
supposed to do?
though? Is there really though?
Is
That
there really?
market's
But
gonna dry up
I
pretty
mean,
soon.
right now it's been active, right? I mean, you see how much some of these women are making. There are
See,
people
you know, I
paying
was
for it, which it surprises me how much some of these guys pay for it. Like I've heard stories of guys paying like thousands of dollars to these chicks, thinking that they're one day gonna fuck them. Like, but you know, the chicks are just like, "Oh, thank you, sweetie."
and then like hold back their gag reflex later on off camera. That could mean two things actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, how do these people live with themselves though?
I don't know. I'm not a woman.
Imagine that's your life. Yeah, because I mean, think about it from a guy's perspective. Like, if you're a porn star as a guy, it's like, hell yeah, I just get to fuck again, you know? It's get money. So it's like the life of a male porn star is not really even like, you know, as sad as like as a woman's life, you know, if she's a porn star. Because I mean, fuck bitches get paid is kind of the male motto, you know?
Pretty much. Now, admittedly, it's not the ideal way to do it, but like,
well, no, because these women are, well, the women that they're fucking are just, you know, receptacles of liquid, of male liquid, and a lot of other men have been there and done that.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's just pretty kind of, you know, obviously the actual like recording of it and putting it online, you know, isn't even that great if you're a guy, because still, it's like, come on, like, you know, people who know you can see that shit. It's like, do you really want to be putting yourself in that position where people are watching this stuff or even know about you doing that stuff?
Me?
Like
no.
Johnny Sins, you know, like Johnny Sins, you think, I mean, he seems like a happy guy actually, but
he kind of does.
I
He's
don't
got
know,
so many
like,
different hats he puts on.
Yeah, I mean, there may be one where he's cleaning a toilet, you know?
So you're saying that...
Wait a minute. Here's what... Wait. I got it. We get the porn stars to be doing actual labor in the introductions of the scenes, and then they fuck at the location. But like, for example, like Johnny, since he's cleaning the toilet as the introduction to the porn, but he actually cleans the toilet, then he fucks a girl, and then goes home and gets paid, right? So like, that's how we do it. We just replace the Mexicans with the porn stars.
So you're saying every porn set would coincidentally be in somebody's home where there's some kind of issue, and then they fuck.
A home, like a Walmart. Remember the stalls? I mean, come on. You know, it's got multi-use now.
The stalls? What do you mean?
The bathrooms, you know, at Walmart, where we would have like, you know, the fucking sex rooms, the goon rooms.
Oh, right,
It's got
right.
multi uses now. Now we have some. Okay, think about this. Think about this economically. We have a fucking porn star going in, cleaning the toilet, so the Walmart toilet's now clean. Fucking in there, recording the porn, and then pretty much using the actual like goon receptacle, and then and pretty much just going home making money, and everybody gets paid. This is
That
stimulating for
could work.
GDP. I mean, think about how much those numbers would go up. Think about how much those lines on the graph would increase.
And line going up is good.
Line going up is always good. It doesn't matter how you get there. Blowing up brown kids, whatever, cleaning toilets and having a porn room, whatever.
Hey, those brown kids knew what they were getting themselves into when they decided to be brown.
Yeah. You should have chosen right, man. Come on. I mean, just think about it.
It was not the best strat to go for the brown run.
Brown, and not even, well, first of all, like in the Americas, I mean, you're in the Middle East. Like, what are you thinking when you were born?
Yeah. Like if you're brown in like Latin America or whatever, you kind of got like an undercover like strat going on there. But brown in the Middle East, it's a bit rough. It's a little
rough. Not a good build. Not a good build.
No, not at all. But my question was going to be, well, I guess no, that's kind of obvious. They probably don't. Would a porn star be open to that though?
To doing the cleaning?
Yeah.
Well, you just tell them that it's part of the shoot.
This is like the first 10 minutes. I gotta censor so much of this shit.
So what, is it the word pornography that you gotta like cut?
I'm pretty sure porn is one that they don't like, and also we said retard a few times.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Usually we wait until
they're stifling the best show on the internet. They're trying to suppress our creativity, our thought processes. Do they not want better success materially for humans? Because that's what we're talking about today on this show.
Depends on who they're defining as humans.
Whoa.
Hey.
Whoa.
I mean, I'm just saying, a company like YouTube or whatever, or any like social tech giant or whatever, they really don't give a shit about anyone that's like, quite honestly, making them the money, as long as they're making the money. And if they're people that are making them the money are causing problems, then it's like, well, sorry. Which, I mean, on like a purely business level, I guess I can't really blame them for, but still.
Now, let me get this straight. When you're censoring, are you doing it only for the YouTube version, or are you doing it for all platforms?
Well, the only one that would not have to be censored is Rumble.
Well, what about the like streaming services? Like, as far as podcasting are still better than YouTube as far as what's allowable. Like Spotify allows a lot of shit.
That actually brings me to a great topic, but I'll probably save it for later because it would be kind of a little bit of a non sequitur. But yeah, I don't know. I've heard some things about Spotify that I'll go into later that I was like, I don't really want to risk that. I mean, it's not like we're saying anything wild or anything like that, but still. I
mean, what we've just said right now was probably acceptable for a Spotify conversation. Now, if you're talking some like, political or, some social opinions that could be considered controversial, then yes, I can understand why Spotify may take issue with that, because they're pussies.
They are Swedes. Like, I didn't say anything about the Swedes. I'm just saying I am making a reference to the fact that they are, in fact, run by a company in Sweden.
Mm.
And this may have an impact in one way or another on certain things.
Is it just me,
Maybe
or
not.
We're like Swedish fish never good?
No, okay, I'm gonna have to fight you on that. I actually really like Swedish fish.
Like them.
They were basically like Sour Patch Kids without the sour sugar.
I liked the sour sugar.
I mean, I did too, but sometimes it's a bit too much. Sometimes you just want the sweet.
Swedish fish are like bland, and they're too like tough,
No, they weren't for me.
Like if like a candy is like a soft candy, it's not a hard candy. Like, why would I want to like have it so like rough to chew? I
protect your teeth.
Probably these days I could work through those pretty quick, actually, when you think about it. But my jaw is a lot better than it used to be. But still, like
mewing?
Yeah, mewing. I am mewing. I'm mewing in my sleep these days. I tape my mouth to go to bed.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Do you really think it's that much of a possibility that your body would just start mouth breathing, that it's necessary to do that?
I've recognized it happening at some points. Like, I mean, usually if I'm like sitting upright, if I sleep, like if I'm on a plane, I've noticed it happen to me one time. Not every time I've slept on a plane, but there was one time I was on a plane where I like kept waking up and I noticed my mouth was a little bit open. And I think that was causing me to like be alert. And then I would close it and go back to sleep, and then it would happen again and again and again. Now at night, I mean, there have been times like where like in the past where like I've woken up like, you know, like drooling, right? Like, or not, I'm not like drooling actively, but I'm just saying I noticed I drooled right in my sleep. No, but it's serious. Like, I'm just saying like that would indicate that my mouth opened. So, and there are people like, you know, it's not uncommon for people to open their mouths when they're sleeping, and just start like, you know, that like having that like either drool come out or like just they're just breathing through their mouth, especially when they're sleeping on their stomach, I would say. But regardless, like I notice these days, at least, even without the tape, that I'm more likely to have like my mouth actually like I'm literally mewing when I wake up. Like my tongue is on the roof of my mouth and in the correct posture. And I don't think it's completely just because of the taping, because the taping has been something I've just been doing more actively more recently. I think like the actual like legit like mewing itself, or like, you know, just making sure my tongue posture is correct when my mouth is closed, like over time has helped me actually just keep it shut even when I'm not awake.
See, I only have that issue when I'm like sick,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm congested or whatever. Yeah, that's kind of it. But now, in the very rare occasion that I do get sick, which is much less. I used to get sick like every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of like before I actually fall asleep, I make a point of clearing all my vessels.
How so?
What's that? Like not snorting. I like blow my nose and shit.
Mm.
You know, that's kind of it actually, and like clearing my throat. I guess that's kind of it.
You know, it's pretty like it releases like toxins like when even when you like spit, because there's like there could be like histamines in there that your body's actually trying to remove.
The fuck are histamines?
Fucking things that trigger like, you know, the sort of symptoms of allergy. I can look up exactly what they would be defined as, because I probably couldn't give you like an exact definition, but let's see here. Yeah, a chemical compound is an organic nitrogenous compound involved in local immune responses communication, as well as regulating physiological functions in the gut and acting as a neurotransmitter for the brain, spinal cord, and uterus. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just seeing like the actual, like this is the Wikipedia page. It's just literally talking about the compound itself. Yeah, but basically, like essentially what they are is like what your body uses when it's trying to fight off allergens. And the problem is when you get excessive amounts of that, it can cause you to have like those sort of like allergic reactions, because your body's overcompensating for something, I believe. But it's usually like an issue of the immune system not being proper, or just like basically like I mean, even if you have a good immune system, I mean, if your body's trying to remove those histamines, it's going to be doing it like through like spit, for example.
You mean like mucousy spit, right?
Yeah, not just like actively just spitting like as if you have like chewing tobacco in your mouth or something, you need to spit.
You know, these past few years of my existence on this plane, I have noticed I've had to do that more often than I usually do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yo,
What?
actually, at the gym in particular, whenever I go hard, which
Oh,
is like every time now,
yeah.
since I'm doing full body workouts now, uh, like around halfway through, like in my mouth, or not my mouth, like there would just be like a lot of mucus
Mm-hmm.
buildup, and I'll have to like go to the bathroom to like get rid of it.
No, I actually completely agree with you, because I mean like I had that happen to me more so. I remember I used to like go on the treadmill more. I just go outside now. But
Lame.
yeah, I know. But I used to use it, and the thing is, even on there, like when I was like running and walking and all that, I would notice I needed to spit more. So I got like a cup that I would actually like do it in.
Bruh.
I mean, I would throw it away after, like, you know, what am I supposed to do? Just keep going in and out, like, you know, of the
Of the bathroom?
garage that I was in, huh?
Yeah.
No, that's too much work. Now I'm outside now, so I can just do it on the ground. You know, epic, right?
Walking outside is so much better than walking on a treadmill.
It is.
That's
The
probably
only
why.
problem is like now that I go barefoot, it's harder to
Wait,
because there's only so much like space I can traverse before I'm gonna hit like the asphalt, and I don't like walking on the asphalt barefoot.
I would hope not.
Yeah, but there are like sometimes short stretches of the asphalt I'll actually get on just so I can get to the other side with the grass. But I find that uncomfortable, so I really don't like doing it. It's not even the fact that like it's flat; it's the fact that like the way it's like built makes it so that there's a lot of like little like sort of like not stringy, but it's like these little bulbous things that essentially have like concrete that are coming out. Like so, the texture of it essentially when I'm walking on it is also like poking me in different places of the foot that I'm not very much liking. So I try to avoid that. But the problem is again, like it's like I only have so much space of the actual grass before I have to cross if I actually want more space of it. So it's like, damn, there's like no easy access to just have a longer path for walking. And I don't want to keep going in the same spot over and over and over.
Do you crave variety in your footpath?
Yes. And I'm limited because of the concrete and the fucking road.
I was gonna say I don't really know how like dogs do that constantly. I guess they have like different padding on their paws or whatever, but
Yeah, but I
that
also
shit's
assume it may
uncomfortable.
not be the most comfortable thing for them.
Yeah, I think it. I would assume that they do it just because they kind of have to because they don't
Yeah.
have shoes and they like suck it up. But damn, I get it's for cars, but come on. I've been on some nice roads actually. When I was a wee lad, playing with the neighborhood kids, as a wee lad, by the way, uh, we would like run around
Whoa.
barefoot in like the neighborhood area, but the roads were like actually not that road. I was somewhere where I was doing that as a wee lad, and the roads were pretty well paved, like
Mm-hmm.
real smooth, so you could run on the pavement or walk on the pavement without any discomfort from just like contact with your foot.
It
Like
might just
obviously
be
you
that where
wouldn't.
I'm living, like I've lived there most of my life, and yet it has not been paved once since I actually moved there. So it's been like fucking like 20 years,
Yeah,
and it's
I
just
just
the
don't
same
know.
road.
That's a social program I could get behind. Smoother roads without taxes
No, I say rip apart the roads and just dirt.
for cars.
At least in the neighborhoods.
You know, bro, there's so many rocks and shit. You're gonna be changing a tire every other week. Although the nicer
Here,
houses that I recall going to, they did have like not like paved roads for like the garage entrance or whatever, but like just like rocks, like gravel.
yeah, that's what. Okay, then switch to gravel. That's what I say. Rip apart those damn roads. Fuck them roads, and just pour gravel on the ground.
Would you even need to do that? Couldn't you just like destroy the
Oh, just
pavement or
like break it
whatever?
apart and then leave it,
Yeah. Yeah.
grind it, and leave it. Yeah, why not? Nobody's gonna want to do that. I say we get some Mexicans.
Give them sledgehammers, maybe a Mexican Coke as like compensation.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're gonna want a lot of Corona.
I don't know why anybody would drink that. That shit sucks ass.
Yeah, what is with Mexicans? Why do they like that? It's because since birth they're giving that at the construction site they're working.
I was so disappointed the other day when I found out about like the whole how like Eastern Europe or not Eastern Europe, Northern Europe versus Southern Europe thing. Like they got the olive oil versus butter thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is like the wine versus beer thing. And I was so proud of the great nation of Spain and all their achievements until I learned that it turns out, despite them being a wine country that's known for their wine, the majority of consumption for alcoholic beverages is in fact in the form of beer.
Damn, we need a cider nation.
That's what they actually are known for cider in what was it, not in Asturias, I think it is, like the northern part.
Mm-hmm.
Sidra, I think they
Like
call
the
it.
very most northern part.
Yeah, that's like the like part that the Muslims didn't get to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Oh,
like on the border with France.
I see.
I gotta
So
try some
it's
Spanish
the
cider.
refined part, the clean part, if you will.
Hey. I'm of the opinion that the real Spaniards are the one in Andalusia, however you want to pronounce it. Those ones, A, they've got gelato everywhere. B, they're hotter. C, uh, hold on. Oh yeah, their Spanish sounds the least retarded in the whole nation. Like they got like
Yeah.
it's like the
¿Cómo
closest like
estás?
yeah. Okay, listen. That was a lot of listens. Uh I don't mind that accent. I prefer that over most of the Latin American accents.
No.
Yeah. The Puerto Ricans where they just drop the S out of everything. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't even tell what you're saying now.
No, I
Then you
like
have
that better than the fucking lisp.
no. So here's the thing. In the northern parts, it's a lot worse. But if you go to Andalusia, where the Muslims are most prominent historically, it's like Latin American
Mhm.
Spanish, or they keep the S obviously, but the lisp thing or the thale is what they call it. It's almost like a suggestion.
Okay.
So like if
Now
you said like a word
the
like I don't
issue
know, go on.
I was gonna say the issue might be that I am more like when I hear Spanish, I'm more accustomed to that like dropping of the S. Now the issue may be that you know, my refinement is that of ghetto ness. And so maybe I actually do need to level up uh, how I'm viewing it. But you know, I don't know. It's something about that like lisp that makes me very annoyed because you're right. It sounds fucking retarded. So it's like, would I rather have someone sound retarded or ghetto? You know, I don't know. It's a bit of
I'll
a
take the retarded.
huh?
I'll take the retarded.
So like if it's like a Down syndrome guy and a guy from the hood, it's like you're taking the Down syndrome guy
Yep. I don't
to
like the
listen
hood.
to, not even like to
I
hang out with, to listen to, talk
Yep.
like for an
Yep.
hour long or something like that.
Mhm.
Okay. I didn't
I
even name the color of the Down
loathe
syndrome guy or the hood guy.
because I'm an equal opportunity despiser of hood culture.
Okay.
Yeah, like I fucking hate slang and all that. You know, every day I wake up and I'm like, why do I talk like this? This sucks. I wish I could be something so much better, something transcendental of the norm of modernity. And yet here I am stuck saying bra every other sentence.
So
There's a
you don't
time.
want to even want to use the Gen Z slang either.
No, I fucking hate it.
Okay. So no Giat, no Rizzler, no fucking, you know.
No, they need. Okay, hold on. Almost broke terms of service right there. Uh, I think it would be best if people like that did not continue to keep talking like that.
Okay. Because they could no longer talk.
No, I did not say that. I just think if there was a situation where people didn't talk like that versus a situation where people did talk like that, I would prefer the former. How we get there, you know, it's up for debate, but
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, um,
What are you supposed to say if a chick has a fat ass? Damn, you know, come on.
she is. You know, it's funny too. I actually had this argument a while ago with one of my friends. Who was like ultra. He was like ultra Christian, getting into like the ultra Protestant thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he would like deliberately not say, "Oh, she's got a nice ass," and she's like, he would say, "She's got childbearing hips," which I enjoyed. It's a bit direct, but it's a lot more cordial, I think.
I I'm not opposed to saying that as a something, but you know, if I see a chick walking by, you know, I'm not gonna say she has childbearing hips. You know, it's not gonna be like, you know, a fucking statement every time I see that. So you know, I'd rather say like, "Damn, shoddy" or something. You know,
Nah,
"Damn,
nah.
shoddy."
I understand what you're saying, but you could have picked a different one. I would have
I mean,
just.
that is an easy one to say. I mean,
I've
yeah,
never said that in my
yeah,
life.
kind of funny, but you could use it seriously. You could be like, "Yeah," you know.
I don't think there's any situation where I could take that seriously.
How about like just damn, damn? I like that one. That's a go-to. That's a classic for me.
Damn is all right. Damn
Damn.
can be useful in that regard.
But once you start adding things like "damn, she thick," you don't like that.
And because damn is
Yeah.
like an old English word.
Yeah.
That's some Shakespearean shit.
Okay.
Wow, I almost just.
Damnation. She has a gelatinous butt.
Oh, I agree.
So you say we
Um,
should be talking like that, like just like that there.
Not necessarily that, but it would be better, yeah.
Okay, preferable.
But the Spanish thing. So the Theo, when you go to the far south of Spain, it's almost like a suggestion, basically. So like if you say something like I'm trying to think of a word with like a soft C, like bendición. You
Okay,
could say bendición or bendición, and the way they
sure.
say it's almost like a mix between the two.
No, I didn't like that last one.
Eh, I've gotten used to it. Where now I kind of just do it now.
But how do you feel about vosotros?
I don't understand it,
Yeah, it
but like
doesn't sound good.
when I was learning Italian, vosotros is basically like the way the Italians use voi, if I'm correct. So I understand how it's used. I just don't understand like the conjugations and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to it because I don't know. It's like the it's like the issue with people like defending the word y'all. Well, like, well, if you say you, I don't know. That's like the answer to that, basically. You versus you plural, basically.
Hmm.
But
But
then the
the problem
Argentine,
I take with it is that like nosotros like includes yourself, and then you have a version of it that sounds almost exactly like it, but then it doesn't. It very much bothers me.
oh yeah, especially with like the modern Spanish pronunciations, they're gonna fuck that up for sure.
It's just the fact that like not even that it like you can confuse one for the other. It's just the fact of like what the first one, you know, has as a sort of like what you associate it with when you hear that like that pronunciation, or not even the pronunciation but like the word itself, like what you feel when you hear that word. I feel like applies too much to it, where if you just replace one letter and then say it again, it doesn't sound like it loses the original meaning. It just sounds like you're pasting a new meaning onto it as well.
You're saying it's lazy.
Well, I'm not. Yes, but I'm also just saying like it doesn't sound disconnected enough from the original word to where it sounds like it actually changes from the original word. Like it starts to have some association with the original word, to where you start like basically how your mind is breaking it, or at least my mind is breaking it down when I hear the word, is that like I'm still firsthand, like my first reaction is to associate it with us rather than you, like you guys, you know what I mean? Like so it's weird because it's like it feels like you're telling me, us, but then you're actually, not saying us. So I'm very like, I'm not even confused. I'm just like, what the hell are you, like what the hell's going on? Like the feeling of hearing that is just strange.
Could you not make the argument that's just because you haven't been exposed to it?
I guess, but like it's just, again, it's just the fact that it's so close, and in sort of like, it doesn't feel like one letter at the beginning is enough to change it. It feels like something at the end should be changed, like something like that's, it just doesn't feel like how words usually work. At least
I'm
I'm more used to how English works, I guess, but like I'm just saying, like it doesn't feel like that's how a word is supposed to work as
I
far
mean
as like rules of language.
in English it's even worse because you got like the same pronunciation for like 5 different words.
I mean, there are a lot of languages where that's the case. Haven't you seen those
Right.
videos where like people are entering translations and all the words sound the same? It's like la 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 la.
I think Greek is kind of like that because they got like 3 different ways to make the E sound. So depending on what the
Mhm.
context is, it can mean something entirely different.
Have you seen what like I think it was like Baltimore or something? It's like what motherfuckers from Baltimore sound like, and it was like a group of like black guys talking, and they're like, have you seen that?
No.
Okay, well actually I want to see if I can pull up the video because it would probably be better to just show you. I think it was Baltimore.
I am a visual learner.
Actually, let me just look up the phrase they had to read because that's probably going to show me. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it is Baltimore, but it was far easier to actually find it when I just looked up the phrase they had to read out.
I went to
Okay.
Baltimore once. It didn't seem that bad. I
Oh.
guess that's because I was in the not Baltimore areas.
What do you mean by that?
Like I went to Baltimore because my mom had some kind of thing she had to go to or whatever, so we all went. And it was pretty nice, I was walking around, checking out the stores and all that. And it was only like several years afterward, especially when I started watching The Wire for a bit, where I was like, "Oh wait, this place is supposed to suck." It did not seem like it at all. Granted,
Okay,
that was like 20 years ago, so I don't know.
let's watch this right here.
I said, Baltimore accents, say this phrase out loud. Earn, and earn. Earn. Aaron, earn, and iron, earn. Man, what the fuck? We really talk like that? Earn. Earn, the iron. What? Earn, the iron. No, Aaron earned an iron. Earn. Earn. No, dummy. Earn, and earn. Yo, what's earn? Dummy. It's not that, dummy. It's Aaron. It's earn, and iron, dummy. Aaron earned and iron, earn. Earn, and iron, earn. And iron. Fuck it. Iron.
That was entertaining.
What the fuck? See, when I was there, I never encountered that at all. I thought Baltimore was considered like a northern city until recently. But no, it's like right before it becomes north.
Southside.
It's never sunny in Baltimore.
Bruh.
It's never sunny in Baltimore.
Bruh.
And it's cold too. It sucks.
It just sounded like you're referencing It's Always Sunny.
I kind of was.
You know,
that was the
but
point.
Still, but it's like there's not even fucking. Is Baltimore known for not being sunny?
No, it's just very gang-ish.
Well, Sunny has the gang. Come on.
Wait, yeah, that's true. Gangland.
Remember the episode when they turned black? And Frank's like, I could say the N-word.
It's been years since I've seen an episode of that.
It was a great show.
It
still is. It's still going.
It's a fucking Hulu. I was using somebody else's Hulu, and then he canceled it, and he probably got it back too.
Yeah, same thing happened to me.
I just never got back to asking him for it because I felt like it'd be too much of a leech thing to do, which it was, but still.
Well, so the guy that gives me his Hulu, I've streamed YouTube TV for him, like when we're on Discord. So it's kind of like, you know, at least there's a little bit of a transaction going there. It's like I'm taking care of you with the shows, you're taking care of me with the shows. You know, we would watch a lot of stuff together.
I can't do that.
Yeah,
like the most I could say is that I started like taking him as a guest in my gym, but then he got his own membership, so now it's kind of over.
It's so over.
It is, in fact, so over. I haven't seen this guy in a while. You know,
dude, I was going to say the problem with my area is like the only gym nearby is overpriced. It's not even the only gym nearby. It's just the best gym, which is like most similar to the gym like you would go to. It costs more than the other ones in the area. It obviously, I know for good reason, like it is the best, but it is more expensive than even the one that you go to. And it's like, they're providing pretty much the same service. And if anything, I'd rather go to your gym if there were one of those in the area rather than this one. So it's like, what gives you the right, you know, this gym to charge like this fucking ridiculous price? The other ones in the area are just very small. There's not a lot of, you know, I mean, there is room to work out, but it's like, at that point, I don't even feel like I'm really, you know, getting my money's worth when it's like, maybe I'm going to go at a time where it's just full because it's going to get easily full.
Yeah. I would say, unless it's like a gym that's a chain throughout your general region or like the entire country, it's probably not a reason to pay anything more than like $10 for it.
Yeah, I don't think that's realistic around here.
I mean, you could move.
Yeah. Where in the United States right now am I going to find a gym membership for $10 though?
At my gym.
They have a plan for $10?
Yeah, you just can only go to that gym specifically.
Bro, that's such a good price, though. I don't see anything like that around here.
Yeah, I don't know. They really cornered the fuck out of that market over there.
I live in a fucking developing area where it's not even fucking like urban.
You know, it's funny. Every time I bring my buddy to my gym, whenever he like comes down from his area, the guys always ask him because, you know, it's part of their job. I get it. They're like, hey, bro, you ever thought about getting a membership? He's like, yeah, I don't live here. There's not There's no gym around me. He's like, oh, well, where you live? Well, let me see if I can find a gym near you. And they've been building a gym like that in his area for the longest time, but they just haven't opened for some reason. It's weird. And the funniest thing too is, they opened another gym within like 20 minutes from where I live just this year that I didn't even know about. So there's like 5 different gyms of the same brand in my general area, yet they can't spread out that far into like your area or his area. And like you guys aren't too far from like the next big urban settlement either. So I don't know why that would be a thing anyway, but whatever.
Yeah, I guess I really just do need to move.
Yeah.
See, I need to be able to afford the fucking like amounts that it costs to like rent in certain places, you know.
I mean, where you were before, wasn't it comparable?
It's increased since I left. Like back when I first moved like to somewhere, you know, that you know of, it was like fucking like in the 600s for rent, and now it's like fucking like going up to 800-900 or more. I think that's still like a lower end these days. If anything, it's like it's in like the low like thousands.
Yeah, maybe I just have a really bad perception of purchasing power, but I don't think that's that bad. Now, once you start getting into like over 4,000 a month, that's when I'm like, okay, let's relax here.
But that, you know, at that point, you know, if we're talking about like single person, like, you know, apartments, it's going to cost you like some, like, you know, it's going to be more than just the like, you know, fucking 1,200-1,300. I mean, it's going to cost, I don't know exactly how much, but I would say like high 2s to low 3s. If you really want that.
I have such expensive taste for someone that does not have the means to live expensively.
It just depends on where you live, like for these actual prices, but they're going up everywhere pretty much. Like it's not really getting easier for anybody generally.
I've got a backup plan. Nebraska.
Damn, I don't want to go somewhere where it's going to get cold. Like
actually,
that.
Yeah, I don't really either. But.
Okay.
Nebraska has a lot of Germans.
Maybe I should just go to Utah.
Does it not get cold there?
I know, but it's higher altitude. Feels better.
I mean, most of the places where it snows, they tend to be higher altitude anyway.
I know, but still, like, you know, I've been there. I've experienced it.
Familiarity bias.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I could live in a place where it's full of Mormons. Now, don't get me wrong. Mormons are a lot better than modern people, like ethically speaking, but I can't take them seriously. It's like as soon as you become a Mormon, all the testosterone gets zapped out of your body all at once.
Well, why do you have to become a Mormon?
No, it's not about me becoming a Mormon. I would never become a Mormon. I'd sooner become a Muslim than a Mormon. Jesus.
You still get the polygamy.
Exactly. And I don't have to become a cuck. But anyway, I would be surrounded by those kinds of people, and I just can't deal with that. Now,
so what's the difference between Islam and Mormonism as far as why you would call being a Mormon a cuck?
It's literally just their like personality.
Mm.
Like people would say, "Oh, they're super white," but I don't even think it's that. Like you've seen the South Park episode where it's all about the like that every day. I think I would shoot myself.
Yeah, well, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I'd rather have a like very careful toe tipping conversation with a pushy merchant guy whenever I'm trying to buy dates than I have to deal with that like false sense of being the best person on earth type thing that the Mormons have going for them. God damn. That's like hell on earth.
Is Mormon like, can you be a Mormon that isn't white? Is it even possible?
I think there's probably some black conservatives that are like that.
But can they be, according to Mormonism? Because isn't that video, I don't know if it's true or not, but I sent you that video. It's like an animation talking about how, like, you know, the origins of it. It's like pretty much there was like, you know, Jesus was decided to be the sort of like overseer of earth. And basically the Satan, or I guess like the angel that, you know, obviously became Satan.
Shaitan.
Shaitan. He basically it took like this group that he didn't want, like he was against Jesus, so basically he got turned into a devil and they all got turned into demons, and then basically the people that actually fought against Satan became white people, and they became the Mormons. Or, I don't know if they became the Mormons, but they became white. I guess Mormonism wasn't actually a thing, but they, obviously Mormons are white people generally speaking. I have not seen anybody that's not white that's a Mormon, right? Or yeah, but basically the people that stayed neutral in the fight became black, because they didn't fight against Satan. So, just saying, it doesn't seem exactly like Mormons take very kindly to the African Americans as far as how, how you're perceived in your lineage of, as far as like how respectable your ancestors are.
You see, though, wait. Okay, I can't reveal that on the show, but that actually brings up a good point that I'll have to like talk about later. I would assume not that it's like I would assume that they wouldn't be against it necessarily, because you would think there would be like a built up like stereotype about Mormons being racist or whatever, but you don't really have that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never heard of it, at least.
Maybe they think the blacks can be saved by converting to Mormonism.
Well,
but that by default, they are the ones with some sort of original sin.
I have an anecdote for that about a buddy of mine, but I'll keep that under wraps for now.
Is he a black Mormon?
No, it's different.
I do not associate.
Yeah, whoa. I was gonna say, there's something about Protestants in particular that they've got this thing about them that makes them so punchable.
What is it?
I don't know. I think it's the fact that they care too much. Like, whenever I'm in like a Catholic majority country or a Orthodox majority country like Greece or whatever, nobody's ever coming up to you saying, "Have you heard the good news?" Like, you'll just see like priests walking around or whatever, people that are like clearly religious and they have religious convictions, but they don't push it down your throat, and they don't do like the false "I'm the nicest person on earth" type thing. They act like normal people. They have normal concerns, and like obviously if you push them on it, like a philosophical conversation, they'll say, "Oh, God did this" or whatever. Like, they'll default to that, but it's not like central to their existence in the same way that it is for Protestants. Like, I was watching this one podcast or whatever, and I gotta stop plugging other podcasts. I was watching this one show.
You always say that.
I know. I was watching this one show where they had like a Christian couple on as like guests, and every time they spoke on the panel, it was something about Jesus saving you. Like, every fucking time. And even in the context of something that's a philosophical discussion, if you put like an Orthodox person there or a Catholic person there, they're able to separate the religion from reality in one way or another. Like, obviously, they don't think the religion is non-realistic, for lack of a better term or whatever, but they do have the ability to talk about something objectively while fusing, material facts or whatever. And then, if you push them, then they'll add that. But it's not like the first mode of defense, really.
Yeah, like they don't just resort to it without giving an argument.
Right. Like, a good example is like your typical like Latin woman or Latin guy or whatever. They still have their vices. They still kind of have the idea of making money. They don't literally make religion their entire life, yet they're still religious.
Mm-hmm.
And Muslims are kind of like this too. Not to the same extent, but compared to like evangelical like Protestants, they have that where like, Mahmoud, I don't give a shit about your life. I just want to make money selling you some dates or whatever like that. Like, if you walk in and you don't want to talk religion, they're not going to talk to you about religion. But you can't do that if you walk into like like one of those modern like amphitheater like Protestant churches. Literally, their entire life revolves around that book.
Have you seen that meme where it's like, oh, so you smoke? It's like a Muslim guy. Somebody asking him, oh, you smoke, you drink, you like, have sex and all that. And then it's like, but you don't eat pork. He's like, Astaghfirullah, I'm Muslim. That's haram.
Yeah. What is with that?
The pork?
Yeah, like, Why is it that that's the one thing, that's the one line you can't cross?
You know, the thing is, like, it's said that like that's a test, but I mean, at the same time, so would be altering your mind state, right? You know, anything that alters the state of mind, which alcohol and weed do.
I would say it's a bigger test, no?
Well, I don't know, because I guess like it's just how filthy the pork is described. I suppose that would be a big issue with it. I mean, obviously, like, you know, I'm not saying that they think like, oh, well, you know, alcohol may not be that bad, but like, I don't know. It just seems something about like the actual like disgrace that this animal has associated with it, and sort of like, you know, I don't know. I guess that's what makes it to them a unique evil. Or even the fact that like maybe it can still be avoided even in social settings, even here. Whereas like, you know, like weed and alcohol are habits that like people in friend groups typically have, where it's like it becomes so normalized. I know like the pork eating is normalized too, but they can at least say, oh, well, I'm Muslim. And then people generally are like, oh, whatever. But if it's like the smoking, the drinking, usually people are questioned why they don't smoke and drink more than like why somebody would say like, oh, I don't eat that. Like, even if, you know, even let's say like meat, like, you know, if somebody just refuses it, the general like kind of opinion is like, oh, well, you know, maybe he doesn't even eat meat.
No, I would drop you from my friend group if you stopped eating meat.
No, I mean, I get that, you know, because we're not normal people, but I'm saying the average person would probably say something like that or think something like that.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't even know what that is. I just liked how good the first impression was, because it sounded exactly like the guy's fucking intonations from that fucking meme.
See, but like, I was watching that video. I don't know if you watched that one I sent, but pork used to be like a big thing in the Middle East too.
Mm-hmm.
And then just one day they're like, no. So it's like,
you see a nigga drop dead from eating it once and you're like, fuck that shit.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. It's like dangerous if you don't cook it properly, but so is chicken.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, somebody wrote it in a book. So, you know, now you got to believe it.
Like, my bad. I
was going to say, go to hell? I mean,
they definitely have not read Charlotte's Web. Pig's got some potential. Some pig, I'll say.
Damn.
I mean, come on. Like bacon, bro? Like, shit.
We always talk about like what? Like prosciutto and stuff?
Yeah, prosciutto and jamon iberico. That shit. Yeah. That shit's fucking amazing. Literally just sliced like pork leg. Like in tiny, like really thin slices, and you eat it like that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I saw a video of like a wild boar attacking people on snowboards in some snowy area. They were like skiing and all that, and it was like just headbutting their like their legs, and fucking even the like when somebody had like a fucking paddle up, it was just like headbutting itself against that. And then I saw somebody quote tweet it and say "low poofa pork."
Ooh,
that's you get that from wild boars.
See, I was reading about it, the jamon iberico, and they do like a natural way of like raising them. It seems for the most part, because Europe is not astro-cucked when it comes to like farming. They just let them graze, but they say specifically that they eat acorns and stuff like that, which helps the flavor. So I would assume that would increase the amount of PUFAs in their fat, but I don't know now, because if that's a natural diet, then. I'm not sure.
I mean, like compared to corn and soy, I'd imagine it's better.
Yeah, I guess the argument one could make is that it's probably not as concentrated, but it's still there.
I mean, just give the pigs coconut oil.
No solids, just coconut oil?
Well, I'm just saying, like, add it to their diets. There was this like story about farmers that would do that. I don't know if it was like the 50s or something, but it would actually slim up the pigs.
Well, you want the fat though.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, as opposed to like other things that you're using to fatten them up, I mean, it's still probably going to be better it is going to be better to eat a pig that was fed coconut oil versus like corn and soy, even if the corn and soy is making it fat. Like, you don't want to eat that fat because it is storing it as PUFA.
True. I need to get me some jamon. I will say though, a lot of like slices of pork are kind of overrated. Like ham. I don't know.
Every time I think of ham, I just think of the fucking like processed one, like the lunch meat.
Yeah, it's not good. Bacon, ribs, and like yeah, Yeah, like hamon and prosciutto. Those are like the big three that would keep me from not eliminating pork from my diet entirely. By the way, almost all of Europe, except for the non-European countries, which are the Muslim ones, basically, all of them pretty much predominantly eat pork, except for Britain too. They eat chicken more. I think Russia too. Might be wrong on that. But yeah, that's the white person meat. I saw a post the other day where somebody said the most white thing you can eat is a bacon cheeseburger because shit, what was it? Because that's the bacon, obviously. So that cuts out like Jewish and Muslim people from eating it. And then on top of that, it's got beef, which cuts out like Hindus and like those Indian religions, basically. But it's also got the cheese on it too, which is a natural disruptor for a good bulk of like sub-Saharan Africans and East Asians as well. So it's
and
really
the mixing of the red meat or the meat and the dairy also just double like blocks the Jewish consumption of it.
Exactly. So basically, only a white guy can really eat this, or at least like someone that's been in like a predominantly white culture long enough to not have the effects of whatever, to be able to eat it without any kind of side effects.
So you're saying cheeseburger, bacon cheeseburger is the whitest food to exist?
Yes. You should probably get rid of the bread though, but you know. And only bacon cheeseburger, no lettuce, no tomato. I mean, you can add it. You shouldn't add it though. Like it doesn't get rid of the fact that I just stated, but you shouldn't eat it. Lettuce bad. Lettuce haram.
What are your thoughts on cream cheese?
I don't know. I'm never craving cream cheese. My thought would be because it's dairy, it's good. But I don't know. Something about it.
Have you heard of I don't even know if it's mascarpone. I don't know how you would.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, since cream cheese is so zogged out, I got some of that instead.
Zogged out.
Yeah, I got a small container of it, of the mascarpone, and man, I used it for like some cream and mushroom, but I also put it on like some like banana egg pancakes that I made. Man, it is good stuff. It's like I was craving cream cheese, but I didn't want to eat all that fucking shit they put in it, and so I just tried this. It's good. I would respect the schmear.
Mascarpone is what they use in is it tiramisu?
Yeah, I believe so. I think I even read that on the package that it's like used for that.
Coda. I get those two confused. But yeah, that shit's good. It's like super high fat, I'm pretty sure as well.
Yeah, it is. It really does taste good. I mean, I'm not eating the whole tub at once, but I mean,
you can though.
Well, I'm not eating like super high fat, but if I have a craving for cream cheese, I'm going for that instead now. And I'm glad I made the discovery.
Why are you craving cream cheese though?
Because I used to eat it on like bagels.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to eat a bagel for breakfast back in the day. Back when I was like, a freshman, in the university, and I said, I need something easy to take to class because I can't be here making breakfast forever. I would sometimes put like eggs in it and stuff, like egg and cheese, and then cream cheese, and it would be like a cinnamon bagel. I used to really like the cinnamon bread.
Shut the fuck up and eat a cinnamon roll.
Did you never like raisin bread?
The little chunks of sweetness were decent.
Like cinnamon raisin bread was just something I really liked. And so like even like the cinnamon raisin bagels I thought were really good. I never really like loved bagels aside from that flavor. Or maybe blueberry, but even then it was mostly just the cinnamon raisin that actually made me like it.
That reminds me actually. I saw a reel the other day where he was some like girl, like those lifestyle influencers or whatever. And I guess she was living in Germany and she was talking about the worst part about living in Germany is the bagel problem. And it switches to another guy and he's like, yeah, I wonder why there aren't any bagels in Germany anymore. Huh. By the way, they do have a decent amount still there. Just saying. Just saying. I checked the
bagels,
numbers.
Right?
Yeah, bagels.
Yeah, there's a lot of bagels in New York too.
That's true. You know, when I think of bagels, I think of New York.
Yeah. So there's this guy who makes these videos, and he's like, he talks about respecting the schmear. I mean, you know, take from that what you will. Now, he goes to like these places in New York, and he's like, yeah, could you put a pound of cream cheese on that? And the guy's like, you want a whole pound? And he's like, yeah, I want a pound of that. Put it, you know, smear that on. And so the guy fucking like, you know, he's like, yeah, I'll do it for you, bro. He sells the guy the fucking bagel. Like, this is like some, I don't know what place it was, but you know, it's like one of those, you know, bagel shops, whatever.
New York,
like breakfast places in New York, right? But he gives him the fucking pound of cream cheese inside of the bagel. Shit's heavy as fuck for like a couple bucks. That costs less than the fucking pound of cream cheese. Like the ingredients cost more than the fucking price he was charged for the bagel.
Bruh. Why would you want that much cream
cheese? Dude, I'd start going there asking for that and then just keeping the cream cheese in the fridge and scooping it out of the bagel to like use it on shit. Instead of going to the store for it.
It reminds me though, I saw this guy on Instagram where because you said, let me get a schmear cream cheese on that. Is this guy where the first video I saw of him, he was like, how Californians order bagels versus how New Yorkers order bagels. And the guy's like, yeah, may I have a bagel on with some cream cheese, and a little bit of olives and this stuff.
So that's the Californian.
Yeah. And then he switches to the New York guy. Hey, Frankie, let me get a bagel, you know, a little cream cheese, and hey, give me a schmear poop on there. Just schmear some poop on there. yeah, just a little schmear poop. And I went down to like his other stuff, and you know how Instagram works. Like you watch one reel, then you keep getting his stuff, and they see if you keep like interacting with it.
Yeah, sometimes I see it like usually they'll do like 2 in a row for me, where it's like if I already watched the first one all the way through, the next one I scroll to is that exact like content creator, just another one.
I've never had that, but like over time
they do that, and I notice it. I'm like, oh, they're trying to see if I like this creator. They suggested me 2 in a row of this person, and they do that frequently, man. It's not even like, you know, it's just every once in a while. No, I like see it pretty frequently whenever I'm introduced to somebody, or maybe it's somebody that like I've watched before, but I haven't watched in a while. Like they'll do that to try and get my, like, to see if my attention's there for it.
Does it work?
Well, sometimes I watch part of the second one or maybe the whole thing, but if anything, it kind of takes me out of the whole, like, you know, like if you're in a daze, like where you're just watching reels, I try not to go into that anymore. Like, but, you know, I'm just saying, like, if I were to be like, you know, having that sort of like, you know, I usually do it if it's like downtime and I'm already relaxed for the day. I don't do it like throughout the day, generally. But, you know, I have been a little bit guilty in the morning of doing it. But point being, if I'm in that daze, it breaks me out of it. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? You know, same with like the fucking, like, have you seen the Joe Biden ones where it's like a thick girl from like, but it's like obviously like an OnlyFans promotion, but it's like some girl being recorded in public. Like she has a fat ass. And then right as like, you know, it's jiggling, you just have this like American flag come down. Joe Biden comes up from the bottom. He's like, take some fentanyl, nigga.
Yeah.
Pay attention, get your bands up. Stop looking at that OnlyFans.
There's something about Joe Biden saying that just makes it so perfect. But yeah, I was gonna say, I got more reels of that guy, and he's got a whole thing where it's just variations on that, basically. What he calls the poop deli. You go in. And yeah, you know, there's like one where it's like a guy that's trying to wean off of poop. He's like, yeah, you know, Joey, I don't know. Yeah, today, it's just a skid mark of poop. No smear, just a skid mark. And there's like another one where he's like going
to like make content about India.
I don't know.
You wouldn't be asking for just a skid mark there, though.
Hey, I'm not filming videos.
Did I put enough poop in my curry? I asked for double this poop.
Yo, I don't know what it is about Indian food. It just kind of looks like that too.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever, like, when I see like, what the fuck do we call it? I don't even know. Like the curry, like chicken, or like where it's got like that huge like creamy sauce on it. It just does not look appetizing at all. Like
you got this chicken masala. There is no solid poop in it. It is all liquid,
bro.
We need to start making these videos.
Indian people.
Yeah. Instead of the fucking New Yorker.
That could work, actually.
You know that one guy? I don't know. He might be like, I don't know if he's like Arab or what, but he makes those videos where he's like white people shopping for deodorant, and it's just like they're just grabbing the deodorant. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't even condone using like any of these deodorants you find at stores with all these fragrances and then heavy metals and all that shit. You know, either use baking soda, or I use like this brand called Schmidt's sometimes, where it's like charcoal, but it has no Schmidt's. It has no like what are I don't know if it's just titanium. I just know aluminum. Like aluminum's usually the thing that they have in there. But yeah, basically none of that. It's just like it's pretty natural stuff. But point being, you know, I just wanted to put that PSA out there for people that are going to slowly give themselves dementia by putting all that aluminum like near their fucking lymph nodes. But point being, this guy fucking he shows white people like shopping for deodorant, and it's just like they just grab it and go. Black people shopping for deodorant, they just grab it and go. And then like Indians, like, and then they like, I don't even know if they smell their pits or what, but like they just turn over and then they just look back away and just like start walking.
Now, I was talking to somebody, I don't remember if it was you or another person, but those people in particular, like Indians and like broader Middle Eastern people as well, it's almost like they'll compensate for that, and they'll have like a whole bottle of cologne on them whenever they go out.
I told you about that fucking guy from where the fuck was it? Like, I remembered the country at the time. You know what I'm talking about? It's like that short motherfucker had the squeaky voice and was from it was like fucking near India.
Bengal.
No,
Bangladesh.
Yeah. There we go. That's what it was. I forgot about that. I just lump them all in.
Yeah, I mean, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, they're all pretty much the same.
What would you call them? Because you know how like, you know, Native American is a thing for like as like a group like sort of identifier. Like what would you use for like Indians, but not Indians? Like they're all just kind of Indians, but like what would you call them?
South Asians.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Because that's like geographically what it is.
Yeah.
That includes like Sri Lanka too.
But doesn't that include like some of the Middle East or no?
No, not really.
Okay.
Like at most it would also include Pakistan, which isn't even Middle East anyway.
Yeah.
Middle East stops at Iran. So anything past that is not Middle East. So it's basically just the Arab countries and like a few pockets of non-Arabs.
Like I get you would call them South Asians, and I know like fucking Middle East like includes like parts of Asia, but like I mean it kind of is just not even North Africa really. Like
no, yeah, like Egypt is added on for cultural reasons, but it's not really part of it.
But point being, like I mean people include Middle East, North Africa as sort of like a region, you know, but
yeah, but you have to specify Middle East and North Africa.
Yeah. But my point is that like you know how people like get upset when you're like you call somebody Asian, or you call like Asians as a term, but you mean East Asians. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's an American thing, because apparently the British, they use it like in the correct sense. Like they'll call like a Jordanian an Asian and like an Indian an Asian. But we just don't. We call them Indians.
I'm not gonna relearn this for you guys. Like you're just Asian, man. And you know, the Indians aren't even like they're South Asian, but they're not even really Asian. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, they're not even fucking Asian. It's like the Asians are the East Asians. I mean Asian when I say that. And you know, like, and when they say Asian's an offensive term, the first thing that goes to my mind after is like, do you want me to say Oriental instead? But they say that's fucking offensive too. So it's like, what the fuck do you want me to call you?
Why? Oriental sounds so cool. I remember when I was a wee lad, my grandfather used to tell me about the Orientals that he used to work with.
Did they was this like a massage parlor or something? How may I help you?
No, that was something different actually. But he would just say Orientals like casually, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like it never occurred to me that somebody was gonna get that upset about a fucking term based on directions. Jesus fucking Christ, that's literally what it is. It means east.
Welcome to.
I don't know why it's so offensive.
Welcome to massage parlor. How may I help you? It come with rub down. It come with happy ending. Okay.
Yo,
okay. 812.
By the way, or no, I think I already brought this up before, but no, I guess I'll just summarize it. I doubled down on the Vietnamese thing. I don't know what's going on with that. We had so many Vietnamese people here, and they're always the ones that fit into the guys' like preference of like having an Asian woman or whatever. I don't know why.
What?
Like, whenever I meet a guy that's got like the Asian preference, they always go for the Vietnamese.
They go for the Vietnamese.
Or I guess it just ends up like that.
Like, are they just already saying, okay, I heard you say that one, but you're like, I'm saying, okay, so they end up with them? Like, they have a girlfriend that's Vietnamese?
Yeah.
You know, honestly, it may be sort of like a, they want it, but they can't necessarily get the top tier stuff, so they just go with for they can, you know, like they go for what they can get.
See, but I don't think anybody else has like a top tier thing. I think it's really just the aesthetic, and they can't differentiate like I can between the Vietnamese and like Japanese, for example.
But the Vietnamese are so much fucking like, you know, not as good looking as the Japanese. You can tell, man. What the fuck? They have different facial structures.
Hey, bro. I'm just saying, the average guy probably doesn't know where fucking Vietnam is.
Yeah. Oh, we know. Korea.
Korea's the way.
No, I'm just saying fucking like a joke as far as where Vietnam is.
Yo, you know the 3 countries thing that people ask?
Yeah.
You know, I knew people weren't that knowledgeable about stuff, but damn, some of those answers are rough. Yeah. Point is,
Europe.
if you're going to go east, Korea, maybe Japan, or Mongolia. Those are your options.
3 countries: Europe, Asia, Africa.
Yeah. Like, I learned that in elementary school, bro. I just don't get it.
Watch one bitch say Antarctica. I mean, that would be probably, if you had to name a continent other than like fucking Australia or something, like, you know, that would probably be like the fucking best one.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I guess Australia is not even the fucking continent name, but still, like, fuck it. You know, it pretty much is.
Isn't it technically?
I thought it was actually like fucking like Oceania or whatever.
I thought it was Australia and Oceania.
I thought Oceania was the fucking continent. Australia was just like technically like still just a part of it.
Jesus Christ. My thing was, I thought Australia was Australia, and then like everything else that exists in that area that isn't Australia was Oceania. Like all the Polynesian islands and whatnot.
Let me see here. Do you well, it says what the fuck? Is a geographical region comprising Australasia, Melanesia,
okay, that's including Indonesia, but...
Micronesia, and Polynesia.
So
is that where Polynesian sauce comes from?
I guess so. Okay, I guess Oceania is a continent. Wait, hold on. For the continent, see Australia.
Well, this is a geographical region.
Yeah,
it doesn't use a continent in the actual name.
Australia is a continent technically, but it includes also like not parts of Australia.
So basically, like Australia is the continent and the country, but the continent includes more than just the country.
Yeah. Because it includes basically the other islands around
because
there.
Australia, the continent, is situated within Oceania. It's within the geographical region. So the Oceania is the geographical region. Australia is within that. But then Australia is the continent that includes everything within that, I guess, all the like land. And then Australia itself is a country.
See, usually it's the continent itself that has a geographical region, not the other way around.
Well, here what I'm saying, what I just saw is that it's contained within it.
Yeah.
Which it's like, okay, at that point it seems like you're purposefully trying to confuse people.
Right? Like
like that one's, what's with that one, you know? Like every other one is pretty established as far as like where it is and like what it is, and like the name of the continent isn't shared with anything within it. Other than like fucking, I guess, like Africa and South Africa, but you know, still, come on. I mean, it's different.
Yeah. That'd be cool if there's a country called Asia.
Well, there is. It's just, you know, it's just East Asia.
That's not a country.
East Asia, man. That's the country.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it would have been the country if, you know, the Japanese won. I'm just saying that they probably wouldn't have called it that, but it would basically be that.
Are you saying they would have made it better?
Definitely not, because they did not like Koreans.
Oh, you stinky Koreans!
They should do like a third episode where there's like a Korean barbecue guy that opens next to them.
I hate the Koreans.
Shitty barbecue. But yeah, they eat the most amount of beef, so they're better.
It come with skewer.
It come with skewer. By the way, I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast before. The Mongolians, bro, they've got like the best diet possible. It's so based.
But why don't the women account for that? Do they? Do the women reflect the diet?
I've not seen, but I do know the dudes are fucking like insanely like cartoonishly huge. Like I saw this one picture.
Yeah, like the guys on the backs of horses that attack the wall.
Yeah. There was one picture I saw though where it was like some European guy or whatever standing next to or like in front of a bunch of like Mongol like nomads or whatever. And bro, he was like, it was almost like something you'd expect to see in like a Lord of the Rings like photo set or whatever, but they were like visibly huger than him. Like it was insane. Like height, like muscle, like just overall size in general. It was ridiculous. But that's what you get when you eat nothing but like, I think they do eat horse meat, beef, goat meat, goat milk, a shit ton of cheese, blood, organs. Like, I mean, they got it all.
That horse keeping you big as hell.
For the only thing is, the only like grains they do is like when it's wrapped around meat, basically. So like dumplings and shit like that. They don't eat bread like Europeans and other Asians kind of do with like noodles and whatnot.
Dude, I was just going through my freezer like earlier today because I was going through like all the old stuff that like nobody really even touches anymore. And so like there was like this birthday cake, like it's an ice cream cake, but it was like sitting there for over a year and nobody's touched it. Like it was like probably a quarter of the way eaten. But I was just looking at the ingredients, like there's like palm oil, there's like soy lecithin and all that. And it's like a fucking ice cream cake, you know? And yet it's not like actually like all ice cream. but
ice
also,
cream is go on.
No, well, ice cream what?
It's only supposed to be like 4 or 5 ingredients.
I know, but this was, I mean, to be fair, like it was a cake, so obviously like, you know, there's like flour and stuff in it, but like I don't know, man, like it was just, it was kind of retarded as far as the actual contents of it. And I mean, it's good I haven't touched it in for so long because I mean, like I think it literally has been like a fucking year. And I mean, I did look at this other thing that we had that like my dad brought, but nobody fucking even opened or touched. But it was like this cheese pastry thing, like this giant round cheese pastry, like a circle of it, like, you know, like so big that it fits on the like a complete shelf of the freezer. Like it takes
savory or savory or sweet.
I mean, it was a pastry. I don't know. Probably the cheese like of it was like probably savory. That's what I envisioned, at least when I was looking at it. But no, I read the ingredients from that too. Or it was like canola oil and that was higher on the list than the cake. It was like canola oil.
Why do you need more than one fat in a given item?
Yeah,
that's what I don't get. Like one should do the job. No, it's got the same qualities.
Yeah,
and it's like ice cream too. It's not like you're cooking it, so you don't need to worry about like smoke point or anything like that.
Well, those were both expired, so I threw them out anyway. I know nobody was going to eat them, but like fucking, there's this like phyllo dough. You know about that? It's like that really thin
I know about phyllo dough. I'm the Greek guy. I know the Greek shit.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, but you know, I'm just saying because like you know like Bastilla, right?
Bastilla?
Yeah. It's like an Arab thing, but they use phyllo dough for it.
The fuck is Bastilla?
It's like they make the puff pastry and then like they make this filling out of like chicken and I think they might use like nuts and stuff.
Bastilla?
I mean, look, they don't say that. They call it Bastilla. Like but technically, if you were to show this to a Spanish person, they would be like, "Oh yeah, that is a pastilla."
There's versions of Malsuka. Oh, it's like a.
Well, it's more like a pastille thing. But still.
The fuck's a pastille?
It's like just a big version. It's like a bigger cake. Fuck? It's like a cake. Or like a big pastry. You never heard of that?
No.
No. What am I looking at here? Pastille? A Filipino packed rice dish Am I thinking of a pastel?
Russian. Yeah, pastel sounds a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't know. What the fuck is...
I could have sworn I've heard like Bastille somewhere. But I might just be mixing up with the Bastilla. No, all I see for pastil is like this fucking Filipino packed rice dish made with steamed rice wrapped in a banana leaves with dry shredded beef, chicken, or fish.
Here we go. Pasteles.
Well, pasteles are like the fucking little like plantain things that they put
like
meat inside of.
Basically, yeah.
Those are not really like a cake or anything like that. Those are like fucking, those are moist. And they're not even, I don't even think they use any flour or anything.
Cakes are moist.
Most of the time, not really. Unless the most moist cakes I've had are probably like chocolate.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't think I've had a more moist cake. Like every time there's a fucking cake and it's like just a white cake, like it's almost always been dry.
Well, you're saying whites are dry?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, it'll definitely take a lot more to get a white cake, a bit more moist. You got to do a little extra work for that, but
oh. Have you seen the video where it's like this black guy and this white guy on the bottom, like they're doing this like video chat, and it's like it's like those things like Omegle, but I think one of them, was it Omegle that shut down, or was it like one like Omegle that shut down or something like? I think it was Omegle.
Is it Omegle or Omegle?
Omegle, but
I thought it was Omegle.
I say Omegle because that's what I've heard, but basically, I think it was Omegle that shut down. There's this new one, and so there was this like black guy on the top in his college dorm, and there's like this white guy. I forgot exactly what the exchange was, but I think he was asking him. I think he might have asked him if he was like in prison or something, or no, he said he was in the military. I was thinking prison for obvious reasons, but no, he said, "Are you in the military?" And so the guy says, "No, I'm actually in college. I'm trying to get my money up. Like try and be like a white person." And so the white guy's like, just watching him. Like, I think he like takes a hit of his vape, and then the black guy starts drinking a gallon of water, and the white guy's like, "Yeah, we're pretty awesome." And then the like black guy just like spits out his fucking water as the guy's smoking there in the bottom. He's like, "Anyway, so like, what are you studying?" And then I think he might have skipped him, like the black guy, as soon as he said that shit, even though it got him laughing like crazy.
I'm so confused.
What?
So it was because he was smoking that the guy spit out his water?
No, it was just funny that as he was saying that, he took a puff of his vape, like, yeah, we're pretty awesome, and then just like,
okay,
like into the screen. He just thinks of it as he's fucking hitting the vape.
Yeah, we're pretty awesome.
Yeah. Now here's a joke for you. Here's one. Here's one on for size. Here's one you'll like. Now, so there's a guy and his wife, and they're back in the olden days when not too olden, but maybe closer to the 50s or so, and there's
a word.
Look, we're gonna ignore that. So anyway, basically, this is back at the time where they would like order milk instead of going to the store. The guys, they just want to pay a milkman to come in, and the old adage of like these milk guys actually like sleeping with the guy's wife or like whatever. Now the guy's out to work, and the milk guy comes.
What? I'm pretty sure that's only in like South Park.
No, come on. That's didn't you see the thing with Goofy in that one thing where it's like Goofy's like cleaning the house and the milkman comes knocking, and then Goofy opens the door and the milkman just plants a kiss on his face and then leaves the milk, and Goofy's like surprised, but it's because actually Goofy's wife is fucking the milkman.
No.
Oh, come on. Well, you gotta have heard of this. Come on. So anyway, the whole thing about the milkmen fucking the wives. Now we're just gonna assume that's true. So basically, the wife's alone. Obviously just waiting on that milkman. Milkman comes to the door. He basically says to her, here's your milk, but basically she's like, "Oh yeah, follow me up to the bathroom." And so he comes in, and she says, she gets naked, she gets in the tub, she says, I would like you to fill this tub with milk, right? And the milkman says, "Well, would you like it pasteurized?" And she says, "No, I'd actually like it up to my tits. I can splash it in my eyes."
Okay. It was good until it's a pun joke. It's a very vulgar pun joke, but still a pun joke.
Yeah.
-7 points.
The fact that she said tits was the problem?
No, it's the fact that it was a pun.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got one for you then. If you don't like this, okay. So there's a guy who basically he's in high school. He wants to ask this girl out to prom, and basically the thing is like he's very nervous in asking her out. He's basically just dragging his feet all the way to asking her for it. But he gets really close to the prom and he asks her. And guess what? She says yes, actually. And he's very ecstatic about this. He really wants to make this a night to remember. So, but he's waited so long that sort of like there's a high demand right now of last minute people that want all the prom stuff. He goes to a flower shop. He's trying to get some flowers for her, like a corset, and like also just bring her flowers. But the line is so long at this place. He has to wait forever. It's just taking so long to actually get those flowers, but he eventually gets to the end of the line, and he gets the flowers for her. Now he also needs to get a suit, right? But seeing as again high demand, he wants to get the suit tailored, all that. There's a long wait. He has to get there, go in the line, wait through the people to get his suit. He eventually buys it though. Okay. Yeah, he does get this. Now he goes to get a limo, right? He really wants this to be a night to remember. He wants to have them, having smooth ride on sweet wheels and just have a driver and all that. He's going to the limo ride or to the limo, people just to rent one. He gets it, but he has to wait in a long line, right? He has to wait for the limo to be rentable for him because, there's all these people wanting to wait for it. Now he gets the limo though. And, they go to prom. He gives her the flowers. He's wearing the suit. They get in the limo and they go to prom. And, basically she says, yeah, I'm having a good time. And he's like, would you actually like me to get you a drink? And she says, well, yes, I would. Now he goes to get to the punch bowl to get a drink, but there was no punchline.
Why would you think this would be any better than the last one? Like I gave you the exact reason why it wasn't funny, well, and then you just doubled down on it.
You said you didn't want the pun.
It's still a pun.
Well, it doesn't have a punchline though.
No. The pun is not the punchline necessarily. Okay. The pun is still there though.
I suppose you're right, but it kind of takes out some of it, right? Do I get any extra points for that one?
No, actually, I think for doubling down, you get another -7.
I see. Speaking of that, what's with this whole thing on like dating apps where like women are like, you get plus points, bonus points if you have like a dog or if you have a boat or something like that. What exactly are the points? What point system are you referring to? You know what I mean? Like it's just some arbitrary number.
Is it like Chuck E. Cheese where I get like enough tickets and I can get the prize?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what they're referring to though. It's like you get an extra 7 coins and, eventually if you get enough coins, you can see that coin slot.
I'm just on the dinner, like calculating the amount of points I'm getting. Okay, that's like 7 tickets. All right.
Well, I mean, paying for the dinner should be a pretty massive amount of points, No,
it's expected now.
Yeah. Well,
listen, I'm not trying to turn this into a red pill podcast or whatever, but I mean, it's just such an easy topic to go on. How fucked it is right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, the bigger issue seems to be not even the case that it's like paying for dinner is just to me it makes sense. It's like, I don't think it's something like you split. And it's not even necessarily that you should like expect like sex after the fact on the first date just for that, but like it's the idea that you are seen as sort of just like an option, and this dinner is actually just like, it's pursuing her, but it's not pursuing her as an exclusive option just because you guys went on this date. Like it's like she wants to explore her options. She wants to go on multiple dates throughout the week and do that. So it's like, yeah, it makes sense like why it's kind of like, oh, well, why would you even want to do that? Like when you know like that even getting to the date and then like doing the date, paying for the date, all that is not going to really get you anywhere necessarily. So it's like, obviously, at that point, yes, the guy's going to want to sleep with her after that dinner. Cause it's like, well, I don't even know if I'm getting anything in return later on over time. And it's like, obviously you can say like, oh, well, that's transactional, but it's like the whole point of this process is to, be in a relationship. So it's like, obviously there is something you have to put forward before you can actually get in that. And that thing is kind of transactional, if not, right? I mean, like the whole, like paying for dinner thing, right? I mean, but, point being like also, you have to like scour through these fucking dating apps. And we talked about this, like, but guys are pretty much like, the ones that have to sort of like, you know, depend on whether the woman thinks they're a good option or not to actually be like going out. So it's like, yeah, I could understand also like if you've had like so many, I mean, like, you know, not necessarily that you know, you're outright rejected when you get to the messages, but like, let's say like you swipe on a bunch of women, you're not getting a lot of swipes yourself. The women are obviously getting way more swipes. The men are obviously getting rejected in general a lot more, even after you get to like the message part. Like, you know, the women may just stop responding because they have so many more options. And like, there's probably a lot of other guys talking to her. She can just switch over if she wants, you know, monkey branching without actually being in a relationship. You know, it's just, you just see all these options in front of you. So, I mean, obviously, like when you see that, you're facing more rejections than, you know, humans are normally used to. And then fucking, you know, you're going out to this dinner, you're paying for it. And you don't even know if you're going to get more dates afterward. You don't even know if like, if you're interested in a relationship, you don't even know if that's going to happen. And it's not even necessarily the case that like, it's like, oh, well, you know, she should be guaranteed as soon as you guys go on a date. I mean, if you don't hit it off, I guess, like, I get that, but you know, it's just the fact of like, you know, this courting process has been lost, and it's kind of just like, oh, let me pay for your food and then see if I get something out of it. So it's like, I mean, of course, at that point, when these are like the incentives and this is the fucking like way it's played, it's like, I mean, of course, that's going to be like what you're after.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, I nailed it on the head, I guess. I mean, excuse me. My thing is, everything you do is in your own self-interest anyway, in one way or another, whether or not you want to use the like make like excuses for it or whatever. But everything you do is for your own self-interest. So if you're paying for a girl's like dinner or whatever, and then you're not getting anything in return, like, I'm obviously, you know, if this is a woman that actually has like the old values of, you know, you take your time, you see what's going on, you know, and she's not sleeping around on the side or whatever, then I mean, obviously that's like a valid way of doing it. But nowadays, it's not even really the norm anymore. This isn't like an expectation. It's like, there was like one article that was going around where a girl, she didn't pay for groceries for like 2 years or something because she would just go on a date like every day of the week, which is insane. So like, it's known that people will like use this kind of old school chivalry kind of thing to just kind of take advantage of people. So I mean, if you're going to take advantage of me, then why should I expect to be, you know, in a position where I'm supposed to just kind of take it, basically?
Yeah.
So, but yeah. And then on top of that, like, you're not even guaranteed, even if it is a relationship, that it's going to go anywhere, like, positive. Like, she might, if it's a woman that is like kind of doing that, one, she might be sleeping with people on the side. And then two, once you do get in a committed relationship, assuming you get that far, there's no guarantee that she's in it because of, you know, any kind of shared connection or anything like that. Or if it's just simply, I don't know, convenient at the time. And then eventually it's not going to be convenient for her anymore. So then she'll fuck you. Like, hopefully literally before the end, but like also like financially.
Still beat though.
Huh?
Still beat though.
What?
Still beat though.
What does that mean?
You have, despite the situation in which you have found yourself with this woman, regardless, you have still engaged in fornication with her, and thus you have continued to maintain that status of, well, I have achieved sexual gain, and thus your loss is not completely unrewarded. Still beat though.
You got to keep in mind, I don't listen to music of the darker fashion. I'm not in these circles. Everybody I know is like pale, pasty, ghost white. I mean, like, you can't just expect to drop that on me and me to understand what it means.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, yeah, you did.
I mean, I just explained it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not even a guarantee. You might be fucked. And here's the other thing. This is the thing.
Well, I'm saying if you had already, you know, clapped the cheeks, then you can say that. Still beat though, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you still lost half your stuff though.
Oh, well, I'm not saying, if it's a fucking like if it's a marriage and you've been like divorced from, I'm just saying like, like if it's like a relationship that ended and you're not actually like in a situation where she can extract more resources following the fact. Now, no, at that point you are fucked, and it's not even, in the sense that like in the good way, it is literally now you are in financial ruin. You still beat though.
Say that from your cardboard box. Hey, I still beat though.
God bless. Y'all have a good day.
They always say that too. I would just love to have like the honest homeless person. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm homeless, bro. Give me your money. And then he pulls out his shiv, and then you just have to start running.
And then if you get sent to jail, you get a free meal and a free place to live.
Exactly. Just go commit a crime. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So what's the worst that can happen? I mean, if you steal as a homeless person. Now, I'm not saying if you break into the worst that can happen is that you die. Now, I'm saying a Walmart, stealing from a Walmart. What's the worst that can happen as a homeless person? Not much other than you just, again, you get everything you wanted for free. Except for crack. You will not get, it's prison. Come on.
But there's still a price on that. You'll probably have to do something for that.
Well, they do it in, the real world, whatever. Like out here, they're doing what they need to. So, I mean, it's same rules in there.
It's really
now, have
weird.
you seen the meme where it's like, you never hear a crackhead saying, "Oh, there's no way I can get my fix today." They get up and they do it. What's stopping
somebody
you?
Say it. I forgot who I heard it from though.
If a crack motherfucker is like, I need crack. You think he's not going to get crack? He'll do anything to get that crack.
That's what we need to be telling people. Treat your financial success like crack. You literally cannot exist without
gay sex for financial gain.
Listen.
Whoa.
Think about the gains.
The gains. I think you said that. Did you say the gays or the gains?
The gains. Don't think about the gays because that's going to make you regret it. But think about the gains. Okay.
Well, the closest you can do without actually literally engaging in gay sex is be one of those people that manages the accounts of women that are being promiscuous online and provocative and nude and engaging in lewd acts and lascivious acts. And, basically you were the one managing it for her, and you were texting the guys who are currently pleasuring themselves to the fact that they believe that there is a woman on the other side of this screen telling them that she engages or she enjoys engaging with them and wants to partake in more of their company online.
Yeah. It's funny too. The whole, am I allowed to say his name? Does it matter? I'm going to say his name. The whole Tate thing too. The whole, accusations or whatever. I'm going to be honest. I don't really care because I just don't know enough about it to care. But
you're broke.
You're fucking broke. You're poor. The part that ruins it is the fact that, well, there's a lot of things that ruin it, but like the worst part about it really is the fact that he was the one texting these guys as they had their dick in their hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That is pretty bad.
That's gay. That's just gay. Yeah. You're doing like you're knowing they don't know about it, so they're not gay, but you know what you're doing.
You don't remember the Andrew Tate thing where he's like, "Would you rather fuck Megan Fox with a dick or Hulk Hogan with a pussy?"
Yeah. There's one right answer for that.
Unfortunately, there only is one right answer, but it's disgusting regardless of what you pick.
Yeah. But yeah, he might be rich, but he is sweet talking a guy to climax.
Well, when you put it like that.
That's what he's doing. Like, think about it. He even explained this.
It is.
These girls, they don't know how to get a guy off. They don't know the way to say things that makes a guy get to that point. But me and my brother, we know how to do it. We type it out. We say, hey, I can't even think of an example. I don't even want to think of an example of him saying it, but we type it out because these dumb broads don't know how to get guys off.
To do that?
Oh my God. I mean, on one hand, getting money quick, sure, but like, at what cost?
I mean, he's okay. To be fair, he's living the life now. Despite everything surrounding him, he is living not exactly, but pretty much how he wants to be living.
Yeah. I would have more respect for like a TikToker than that, though.
Like somebody that blew up off stupid dances.
Songs are not gay dances. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well,
hey, you got your prerogatives. I got mine, which is not getting this place shut down.
I didn't say anything. Okay.
Yeah.
I just said one word.
Yeah.
I was just saying that the debate surrounding this sensitive topic shouldn't be immediately shut down with a statement that it is immediately good or bad without further substantiation.
Let's talk about that. I'm gonna see how many like references I can throw into one episode. I've noticed in particular too, when I'm watching any of these shows, any of these kind of shorts, clips, whatever, women in particular, and sometimes even men, or well, no, a lot of times even men, they'll do this thing where they will intentionally avoid any kind of value judgment whenever it comes to something sensitive like that, which is the most pathetic, like cowardly, even animal-like thing to do. And actually, not even that. Even animals have judgment, value judgments.
Well,
like,
do they?
Yes. Have you ever seen the Reddit post where a guy's like, I started having gay sex in front of my dog, and now my dog doesn't look at me the same way.
But is it like, okay, aren't there dogs that do have gay sex? I mean, maybe they don't even know that the other dog's a male or female, and they just start doing it. You know, is that a thing is that a thing like in the animals? Like maybe it's not even the fact that like they realize what they're doing with other males. Like they just realize, other animal, and they're not necessarily able to identify it.
I'd imagine there's some way to identify it, but most animals aren't as dimorphic as humans are in regards to sex.
That's what I'm saying.
It's possible. Like you don't really know just from looking real quick whether it's a female dog or a male dog.
So you're saying once gender neutrality becomes the norm, then then it's over.
That's never going to become the norm. Like it's impossible. But
it's
anyway,
impossible.
No, it is. It's
how?
Because like unless you start like chemically and like surgically forcing people to do it across the globe, which there's no way you can actually force that.
Well, chemically, people are being essentially neutered right now with all these fucking things in the environment, these estrogens.
Right, but even that, there's like an extent to that. It can only go so far because most people, it's still not the norm, despite what they're trying to do. But yeah, going back to my point.
I don't know. Have you seen these motherfuckers online? Because I mean, I don't think they're necessarily just like in small pockets.
Yeah, you can see it. They're starting to get cold feet. Once they start ramping it up, that's when you know that it's not really working the way we wanted it to work. Oh, we got to start pushing it harder. See if it does anything. It's not going to work. Listen, we are a nice civil Christian podcast. We when I say they, I mean
the enemies of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Which could be anybody, and it could also be nobody at the same time. Because as we know,
Jesus may have no enemies.
Our Lord Jesus Christ is the creator and savior of all, which makes nobody his enemy. But at the same time, any who he decides might, I don't fucking know. I'm not Christ.
Wait, Jesus isn't the creator, is he? Because Jesus was created.
No, but he is God.
But he was created. So like
by God.
Now the question, yes, but like before he was born, like there was no embodiment of Jesus. You know what I mean? Does he share a mind with God? Do they have separate minds?
I would.
Are there two gods? Are there three gods?
That's what the Muslims say. The Muslims
is
say
Christianity polytheistic?
Technically.
Now,
but they're one part of the same thing.
Yeah, the question is, are they separate beings? Are they separate beings, or are they the same being? Which one is it?
What would be the point of a distinction between Son and Spirit and Father if they weren't implying that there's a difference in mind, or at
But they
least
say that they're one and the same.
So then why would you not just say God?
That's also a great question. So which one is it? Because it can only be one or the other, but they try to tell you both. It's just not it's not logically possible that it's both.
These people.
Because I remember a kid trying to explain it to me back when I was little. I'm like, what the fuck is this little, talking about, right? I didn't understand
what the
it.
hell is this fella on?
Yeah. What is this fella in Paris telling me?
But going back to my point.
I need to know the answer.
I don't know the answer, bro.
You should.
I mean, they don't know the answer, so how am I supposed to know the answer? It doesn't make sense.
Okay. What do you think they're trying to say? Do you think are they all literally trying to say it's both? And there's just no, okay. So there's just literally like no, like logical position in Christianity for what the deities are, or for what God is and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. Like there lacks any person within the Christian faith who has a perfectly logical explanation for what the distinction is.
Well, it depends on what you mean by Christian.
Okay, proper like Christian, like, of the main sects, the ones that are recognized as Christian.
They do. It's called, we can't understand God's logic.
Well, that's not logical then.
No, it's just not human logic.
Oh, God logic. It surpasses the laws of logic, actually. There's a whole nother set of God's laws of logic, actually. P can be P,
Yeah. I mean, like, if you go into like the other, like the heretical quote unquote sects, which isn't even really a good designation because every other sect considers the other one heretical anyway, but the OG ones, like the Arians, I got to keep like designating it's with an I, not a Y. Arian, Arian. The Arian Christians. Wow, that is such an unfortunate title.
No relation.
No relation. They believe that Jesus was like fully man or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was only through God's will that he was able to be resurrected or something like that. But he wasn't in fact God, which makes so much more sense. But then everybody was like, no, you can't say that. So I don't fucking know.
Yeah. If only they would say he's just like a demigod. That would make it so much cooler and more understandable.
I mean, the Gnostics basically equate Jesus with like Dionysus, kind of. I'm just saying, like, if I were to choose a form of Christianity that made the most logical sense, the Gnostics kind of got it.
Mm-hmm.
It explains why God is such a dick in the Old Testament. It explains why
What do they worship then?
They still worship Jesus, pretty sure.
Well, what the fuck? I thought Jesus is on the same side as God.
No, he is.
So they just worship the asshole too?
No. So the creator God isn't God. He's like some other guy.
Right.
That you could like, he's not Satan, but you could like equate him with Satan.
But he's not Jesus' father?
No. So
where did Jesus come from?
We've already been over this. Basically, the creator God, Old Testament God, is a demon that just created shit and he forced people to be in physical form. Actual God sent Jesus to tell people, hey, no, you need to be freed from the physical world and find transcendence.
Okay, I guess I was confused because I was referring to like God, and then you were kind of just referring to the first God. I'm saying, okay, now God be, which is, we'll say Jesus' father or whatever, Jesus is creator, or maybe did he even create Jesus? Did a God create all life, including Jesus and the other God?
I believe real God created Jesus.
Which one's real God? God A?
God B.
God B. God B's real God.
Yeah.
So what? But the other God is the one that's the creator. So what the fuck is he?
He's the creator of the physical world.
I see. Yeah, exactly. But like the spiritual world was created by real God?
That's what it seems like, yeah.
Okay. And so real God created the other God that created this, that created the real world.
I'm actually not sure if he created him or not.
Okay. Well then,
I don't know.
My God.
See, even within Gnosticism, there's not like a real like orthodoxy. It kind of varies depending on.
This is like the Buddhist version of Christianity.
I mean, it still makes more sense in regular Christianity, though.
Or Buddhism, but still,
it's still not great. It just happens to make.
It's as if Buddhists wrote Christianity for you.
I mean, there is an influence from Zoroastrianism, and Zoroastrianism is a split from Hinduism, which would later become Buddhism.
Oh, so you were saying there actually is a common ancestor?
No, there's a link for sure. All the European
There is no missing link.
Exactly. All the Indo-European religions are like rooted out of like the same kind of thing. It's once you get into the Hebrew and Sumerian shit where things get messy, but even those have the same root. Anyway, my point was, people will go out of their way not to say something that may or may not be considered offensive because they say don't judge. But the thing is, you are literally incapable of not making a judgment no matter what you do, even the most simple things. And the one neocon guy we know, I tried telling him this and he got all upset about it, even though it's really true. I said something like along the lines of, no, even if you decide to drink a cup of coffee in the morning, that's using philosophy. That's a judgment in one way or another. And he's like, what? That's ridiculous. I mean, but the point is, that's the most bare bones form of logic. Anyway,
I'd like to make a point to that.
Go ahead.
Actually, I was having some discussion with a couple of family members. I mean, you can take it what you will, who that actually is in my family. But pretty much we were talking about like duty, and especially when it comes to like, for example, like, do you have a duty to take care of your family? Like, is there some sort of obligation like to provide for, like, especially the parents who like basically they're the ones that brought you into the world, as the argument. But also, like, let's say like a niece or nephew, or like a cousin, or I guess like more so people that would be below your age, where you would be the one, if anybody in the family, would be of an appropriate age to be like a caretaker or something, or even like if somebody's older than you to the point where they can't take care of themselves anymore. But point being, I was saying there exists no metaphysical duty, right? Like there is no real, like, in the sense there, like, it's not true, because like there is nothing basically beyond us saying that we have this moral obligation that we feel to ourselves, like sort of and it's not even an obligation, a moral responsibility that we personally feel is the only thing that exists. But I kept getting the argument that it's like, oh, well, we're not even talking about the metaphysics of it. And then I'm like, oh, like, well, why would you not, first of all? But also, like, okay, but then if you're only talking about the moral responsibility, then the duty doesn't exist because you're not grounding it in anything. Oh, well, but you still have a duty. Come on. Like, this is your family. It's your blood. And I'm like, well, what if it's like an adopted, like, like son or daughter? Or what if it's like, like a godchild, or, something along those lines, where it's not actually blood related. It's like, oh, well, you still have that, like, you're still family. And I'm like, okay, so then it's not blood. And then I was saying, like, okay, well, what if you had like a biological parent that abandoned you? Like, what about then? And it's like, oh, well, like you would still have some sort of like care because that's your blood, I'm like, but you would only really feel like you want some closure from that person, maybe for abandoning you. But beyond that, it's not like you have any love for that person. So I just kept getting arguments from like, oh, like, well, and even despite making all of these points, I was still asked like, oh, well, if you had a kid, like, would you ever stop taking care of them? Like, if they needed you, like, would you stop doing that? Like, basically to make the point that it's like, oh, well, there must exist some responsibility, like, in a true sense, if you feel it as well.
It seems like a lot of cope.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally like the fact that like religion has been a central part of upbringing for a lot of people, that I would say is a big cause of it.
It's like it does kind of just remove the ability to logically come to a conclusion, it seems.
Yeah.
Which is why,
because also, like, if I were to respond yes, that I would take care of a son or a daughter or something, apparently that's supposed to be a gotcha. But it's like,
I don't really,
the why to it is that there's an emotional connection that has been sustained over the course of that person's life, and I've grown a bond with them because of that.
Right, and like this kind of goes into like, did they ever ask you about like a disowning thing or whatever? I guess they kind of did implicitly, but I don't know if they ever went into that specific scenario. Like, if let's say you had a daughter or whatever, and she did something you didn't like, and you said, hey, you probably shouldn't do this, and she's like, okay, I don't care, and she kept doing it, and you kept reaching out and nothing happened. At that point, would it not be in your best interest to like, okay, well, she's doing that shit, it is physically and mentally disturbing me to see her do this. Do I keep relations with her? Do I keep trying, wasting my time, money, and effort to like fix this issue that's clearly not working? Do I just cut her off?
Yeah, well, I made the point that if I had somebody in my life that, oh shit, what the fuck? I opened a date and it's like full of mold. I made
you
the
got some bad dates.
well, most of them aren't. They don't. I checked them on the inside, but that one had like a lot of fucking black powder. Now
Protein.
I made the point that if I were to have like a son or daughter who, I mean, a child, that basically not a child anymore, becomes an adult, and has become not only like, not just in the sense that like this person's living in my house and isn't necessarily paying rent or anything, or isn't like working, but like in the sense that this person is like purposely being a financial burden to me and refuses to change this person's actions. Like, and I am at the point where I cannot financially provide for this person. Yeah, I would like at that point have to kick out that person because I'm not going to go homeless for somebody else.
Right.
Like, especially if that person has control over the situation, because the only case in which you don't is if like you're like, ill to the point where you were literally unable to do these things. But if you have the capability to be like working and all that, or like, somehow like causing me not to go homeless, but you are literally doing the thing which is causing me to be at risk of going homeless, well, somebody's going to have to get cut off if I don't want to go homeless, and it's going to be that person, even if that person is my kid. Like at that point you're harming me as well. I said I'm not going down with the ship. It's like the literal statement I made.
I mean, yeah. And the thing is too, if anything, that would be a wake-up call for them to change, and if they don't take it, that's on them.
Right.
So it's not even really like you're doing them a disservice. Like, this is kind of the crux of the point. The idea of unconditional love, unconditional acceptance. You're not helping anybody when you do that. Like if I say, like, let's say I had a friend or whatever that's like doing like heroin or whatever, and I'm like, well, it's your life, do whatever you want. Which, I mean, legally speaking, yeah, sure, I don't really give a shit what you do. I probably won't associate you because of the legal ramifications if it ever gets to that point.
You remember my friend that like told us when he saw me like for the first time in a while? What was it? He's like, I smoked crack.
Wait, what?
You remember that shit? This guy we had seen at a club, because I was telling you about it. We were at a bar, and I was like, hey, he's telling me he wants to see me tonight. You want to come with? Because I just haven't seen him in a while. I don't know if this guy's sus or something. I don't know. It's just kind of out of the ordinary that he would say that. He tells me to meet me at a place. And it's like the club I've never been to. Like, it's like kind of a secluded thing. It's not very popular or something. So, it's a little sketch, right? So I'm like, yeah, just come with me. I see him. He greets us just fine. He's like, he's happy to see me and all that. But then he starts telling me about it, what he's done since like I've seen him last. Cause it was even a guy that was like staying like where I was living for some time. And he's like, he was telling me like about his experiences. And he was saying apparently, I don't know if it's, who he was living with or what, but he like for a certain period. But then he's just like, I smoked crack. You don't remember that? I remember seeing your reaction. Yeah, you do, right? That was funny as hell.
If he said he had done coke, that would have been like more preferable, to be honest.
Well, I know somebody that's done like heroin, but no longer. It was a short, brief period.
They got off it.
Oh yeah, pretty quickly. Because
Jesus.
I mean, I don't want to go into it, but basically, like a very like life-threatening situation happened. So it was sort of, that was the wake-up call. And it wasn't even like for a period. It wasn't a long period of use. There was somebody that was a bad influence in that person's life. So it was kind of like, there was that was the reason for it. It was a short period of time, like not even like months. It was like weeks or less.
Jesus.
So it was like a few instances of use, and it was kind of like, but yeah, there was some shit that happened there where it was like, that it could have resulted in a loss of life.
And though, usually it only takes like once for it to really settle in.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got some resilience. Damn, that's impressive. Good on him. But yeah, the point is, when you say things like this that are very clear, and it's so funny too, because they always say something like, there's nothing wrong with doing this, that, and the other, but okay, why are you saying that to begin with if there's already an implied negative connotation with whatever you're talking about? Like, that would be like me saying, like, if somebody says, I don't know, I like peanut butter, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with liking peanut butter. Why am I saying that to begin with? Like, I would just be like, oh, okay. The fact that I'm bringing up peanut butter. Exactly. Like, well, I mean, yeah, but from like that point of view, there would be no reason to say there's nothing wrong with this. What's wrong with this? Like, the implication is that you have to bring up like, well, you have to put a statement that indicating that there's something wrong with it, because you know that there will be a reaction that there is something wrong with it. But you say this, and then they go on and say stuff like, yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want. If you really respect the person, you'll let them, fucking jump off a cliff or whatever, which is retarded.
Yeah.
Putting
if I care about a person, I'm going to stop that person from jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Or at least like reason them out to see if they're capable of like logic or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, if it's somebody I care about enough, I would physically stop that person from jumping.
Right.
Keep that person in my house.
Okay.
When the Chinese restaurant is actually in your basement, which is a dungeon for captives.
I'll give it get the cheddar chicken with rice.
Okay.
I'm gonna get an egg roll with it. Okay.
It come with torture. It come with torture. It come with whipping. It come with starvation.
Chinese restaurants in the BDSM dungeon. It come with eggnog. Ho ho ho.
It come with piss play.
All right, retarded session done. Back to my point. Point is, the love and caring you have for somebody is entirely dependent on whether or not they are aligned with reality or not.
Mm-hmm.
So necessarily, if you do give a shit about them to any extent, you would tell them, hey, this is a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't do this. Stop doing it. Stop it. Get some help. But for whatever reason, well, I know why, but people are just incapable of grasping that these days. Like, I was watching Adam 22. He was like getting grilled for the whole, well, everything. And he was talking about, well, yeah, at first I didn't really have an issue with it, but then I realized there was like no issue with it with my wife. My relationship didn't change, but the whole time he was talking to, he wouldn't look the guy in the eyes, which alone is so telling.
Yeah,
you can tell a lot of things from body language and the way people phrase things, and people just kind of don't catch on them too. But
yeah, it's like Adam 22. How's your wife? It come with black dick. It come with black dick.
Oh God, I was actually watching it on not a podcast, because I don't plug other people's podcasts. Where this guy was like,
it was a long form piece of content.
Yes, a long form piece of content where he was talking to this guy, and the guy was like, okay, so why are you doing this? It's like, well, me and my wife, we think we're trying to push the limits, because, eventually we're getting old. Eventually we're going to stop. We're like, okay, do we stop now? He explains whatever. They want to keep pushing the limits. And it's like, okay, so you're doing this for the money? No, yeah, kind of for the money, it's whatever. See how it does. And then he's like, okay, so how much, like having $5 million, how much does it change if you having like $20 million? In terms of like the way you live. Oh, it's
right,
not
because he wasn't even living
much.
Improperly, right? He was living fine.
Exactly. And he's like, well, it's not really changing that much. There's not much stuff that I do that's really expensive. I'm not like living a luxury lifestyle. So it's 20 million versus 5 million isn't really a big deal. And he's like, okay, so you're saying you're doing it for the money, but then you're saying the money that you're getting from it isn't really changing anything in your life. So why are you doing it? And then he's like, okay, so who came up with the idea? You or your wife? And he's like, oh, well, my wife brought it up. And it's like, okay, so are you actually okay with that? Is it you saying, yeah, I won't think this is a good idea for us as the man of the household or whatever? Or is it she brought up this idea and you curled up into your shell and said, yeah, yes, honey, whatever you want, because you're afraid of her going outside of this marriage or breaking it up or whatever? And I mean, the answer to that is pretty clear, but like, he was like, well, no, because eventually I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. It's okay. But even then, he's still saying, at first I had an issue with it and I let it happen anyway. And then I kind of just coped with it.
Do you even remember what she was famous for before that porn video they did?
I thought she was always famous for porn.
Tape? Huh?
I thought she was always famous for porn.
I thought she was like they did a sex tape. Was she a porn star?
I thought she was a porn star. And then what she got with him, and they started their podcast where they would interview porn stars and fuck them after.
I see.
And then after that, they did the thing with the black guy or whatever.
Yeah. Jason Love, right?
Have you, there was like one Instagram post that she posted that on this long form of content that may or may not, that is probably not a podcast. That they looked at like her last Instagram post of talking about it, and she's like leaning down on like a counter in like her basically like stripper attire or whatever, and she's like, "Hey guys, guess who I'm filming with?" And then in the background, you see the black guy walking out of the room slowly. He's like doing the thing where he's like flexing his like chest on and off. It was the funniest shit ever. But yeah, he's not okay with it. It was funny too because he even had like a bunch of like tweets and shit where he's kind of like having like a mental breakdown,
Mhm.
and then he kind of just coped with it later on. He's like, actually, yeah, no, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. Well, bro just, ruined his life over that. But obviously, these people have been weird. Like, there was this whole thing where they were like, having some stuff with Lena, like doing like breastfeeding stuff. But it's like the fact that like, I don't know if that's like, they were actually like doing the thing where they were having their daughter or their kid, I don't know if it's a girl or not, do the actual like sucking on the breast, and then they would like post pictures of that or something. But it would like overlap with the fact that these people do fucking porn. And they had some like, I don't know if they had like it was a Pornhub magnet, like just the logo, or I don't know if it was like some other weird magnet they had on their fridge, something like that. I just remember things about like, what exactly is the overlap audience here, if you're thinking about it.
Yeah, it would necessarily have to go into a dark area like that when you're combining the whole influencer share my lifestyle thing with the porn thing. There's really no way that can go anywhere that isn't depraved in one way or I mean, it's already depraved to begin with, but in my opinion, because sex workers, I can't really give any value judgment to that, really. But anyway, jokes aside, it could only get more depraved from there when you combine those two things.
True.
Because even if like you're a porn star, right, and you have a relationship, it's one thing to do the porn and have a relationship on the side. That's one thing. But then when you combine the porn with having like a live audience viewing your life with the person, then it necessarily has to get even more depraved. Then you add a kid into that, it's like, okay.
Yeah. You just, if you have children, just get out of it. Just stop doing it. Take it. I mean, like, you can't take it all down off the internet, but just, clean your own personal life of it as much as you can.
Right.
You already got the money.
Yeah. But,
actually, I know somebody that did that. My friend told me about this. Basically, she went to our high school, the friend and I. And basically, there was one point where she was actually trying to get with him. But I don't know what happened. I guess he just didn't go for it or something. But point being, like, she actually did go into doing that. I really shouldn't say her name, actually, because that would track it back probably.
Probably don't.
But she's done like, the fucking like Bang Bros and all that, like those big ones. Like she actually did some like big stuff.
She's like an actual one, not like OnlyFans. Like,
yeah, not even like an OnlyFans. Like she was like an actual like fucking porn star, like serious. Like, I'm not talking about like the biggest of the biggest, but like, enough to have some of these like, the brand ones, like where she's like on those sites, like not just like being on Pornhub, like actually having some of these like, bigger like production teams like doing the shoots. You know what I mean? I don't know how many she did, but I'm just saying, like, at least for what she did, like she had some of that going on. Point being, she essentially just kind of like cleaned it all up and became this like Christian woman. Funny, right? I should have probably talked about this with the trad thoughts thing, but she became this like Christian woman with a kid. I guess it was the kid that probably influenced some of that. I don't know if she decided to have the kid after that or what. But she's like a single mom. I don't know if she eventually got with a guy after, but she just became a single mom. I don't know who necessarily impregnated her. I don't know if it was during a shoot or if it was just something outside of that or what, but yeah, that's what happened with her life. I mean, at least good that she stopped doing it, when she had the daughter, and she at least, I mean, I know the Christianity thing. I don't know. She's not doing it for content, at least. It seems like she actually, I don't know if she just feels so bad about what she did that she felt like she had to turn to something that could make her life feel better. I think that might be it. She's not doing some sort of like influencing and like content and all that, like about this. So I really think it's just the first thing.
Yeah, I mean, there is a trend where people like get into it And well, I mean, the new trend is you get into it, leave, say you reform to Christ, but you don't actually change anything that you're doing. But before, it used to be you get into the business and then you regret it, leave it, and you become like an ultra Christian.
Yeah, that's literally what she did.
I mean, that's more respectable than the modern trend, so I'll give her points for that.
Yeah,
but that, like,
it's better.
You know, I mean, the Christian thing of everybody's a sinner and all that. At some point, like before you got into it, you should have had the rationale to think, maybe this isn't the best option for me right now. Maybe I could do literally anything else and still have a bit more decency about myself. Like, if somebody changes for the better, good on them. But at the same time, you still had that complete lapse in logic for like that point in time.
I mean, she did it right out of high school. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it had to do with something how like she was raised, but I don't necessarily know what the parents would have done to like drive her into doing that.
Yeah, like even if you take like the abusive household thing like that, not saying that it's like gonna be like a cakewalk or whatever, but I mean, why it would necessarily lead to porn? I've never really gotten the connection logically why that would be what you would do.
You know, I could see if you're like a stripper or something.
No, yeah, I get that, but even then, it's still like, why? Okay, you acknowledge that this is not a good relationship, so you choose to go down a path that is detrimental for you rather than bunkering down and like becoming the best you can be despite that, which is another thing people do. So it's not like it's impossible to do that. So I don't know. These are crazy, 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 crazy nights, to quote Paul Stanley. Nobody listens to the 80s Kiss. 80s Kiss is better than 70s Kiss. No makeup though. Well, not the face paint makeup. They do the glam thing. So like, yeah, arguably
like
worse
on the
but
face. You still got like that lightning bolt,
Lightning bolt.
No, I'm saying usually the glam aesthetic is like you have like it's like I think of it as like you have this like colorful instead, like lightning bolt across your face,
like the face paint.
Yeah, but like going across, like how like you'll have that like where it goes across one eye and then goes back over.
Yeah, no. So there's glam rock where that's what that is. Then there's glam metal in the 80s where they were actually just wearing like makeup.
Ew.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a photo of like Motley Crue, bro?
Yeah, I have.
It's not good.
Why would they do this?
I don't know, actually. I've never actually looked into why they did that.
This brings me into a story I remember happening in 2021.
Not the year. Okay. This is a big one.
This is when Kid Cudi went to some sort of awards more address there. He now I actually saw a tweet about this recently. That's why I bring it up. But I'm just saying it's relevant to the topic now, extremely relevant actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and just share the tweet. Let's see if I can pull that up. Oh, actually, I probably don't want to share the tweet. Let me see, because you have to be logged in. So it's like, I gotta do that. Let me just put the image in a new tab, and then I'll read the tweet outside of the actual share. Hold on. Just opening that. Oh my God. I have to open the link. Let me see. Yeah, X has become like kind of strange where it's, oh my God, dude. X has become kind of strange where it's, and it's Twitter. It's not X, but whatever. It's become kind of strange where, you can't see content unless you're logged in, which is very, very homosexual. Whoa.
I mean, I understand why.
That can be good or bad, actually. If you like security, if you like things on lock, if you like things in a tight place, then you like homosexuality.
Oh, I was going to say, I can see why he did that. Cause I remember at one point somebody was saying that he was talking about like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's it. He's holding the guy's hand too. Now, somebody tweeted about it saying, what kind of blackmail do you think P. Diddy and his handlers have on Kid Cudi? One look at his face shows he is embarrassed and ashamed to be wearing a dress. I guess what they have on him must be more shameful. And then I thought about like, well, I guess I saw it in the comments, but like, I was like, yeah, this person might be right. Apparently Diddy, allegedly planted a bomb in Kid Cudi's car and blew it up, just to send a message. Allegedly, it's ignorant. Yeah, apparently in 2012, Diddy blew up Kid Cudi's car in an alleged loss or in a lawsuit allegation. It was unrelated to the actual, I think, the bombing, but I guess it alleged that he did this. But anyway, point being, yeah, this kind of looks like the guy that doesn't necessarily want to be doing what he's doing right now. I mean, I don't know. That may just be me. But then again, this isn't the only time he's worn a dress, I believe.
This must be some really bad blackmail for him
If
to be
it's
doing
if that's
that.
what's doing it to him.
Yeah, because
Like, what would cause you to wear a dress? Maybe he did do something gay.
I mean, at that point, you might as
Possible.
well just commit to it then.
Yeah, but you know, that would kind of be counterintuitive, right? Like, you know, it's like you did something gay. Now put on a dress, you know?
Yeah.
I guess it kind of saves you because you're still like, oh, well, I still like women. Maybe the gayness will probably ward off more women, you know, when it comes to how much you as a celebrity can actually sleep with versus just wearing the dresses.
I don't know.
You think having had sex with a man before would be more okay with women than a few times putting on dresses?
Okay, well, if you put it like that, I thought you meant simply the act of being gay.
Oh,
Or, like,
so like the
claiming to be
lust for being with men, but not the actual like sexual intercourse.
Right. Because like there's a trend, or like there's like a what the fuck's the word for it? I guess stereotype where, you know, the girl has like a friend that's gay and she kind of wishes he wasn't gay type thing. Now that probably, I wouldn't be surprised, was just like Hollywood propaganda at that point, because I've only seen it like that, really.
You remember
but then on top of that,
you remember the porn star that you know, self erased because
which
she
one?
basically
Like...
okay, now let me tell you the reason that this happened. She basically said she didn't want to do shoots with men who did shoots with other men. And basically she was saying like, oh, well, I mean, you know, basically it drove her, because people were basically insulting her, berating her and all that. It drove her to do some sort of drastic action like that, which also, you know, the fact is, if she wasn't like if she was just a celebrity and wasn't actually like in this field, I feel like her mental state wouldn't have been as bad. Like if, you know, she as a celebrity said like, I wouldn't want to be with a man who's like bisexual, to the point where it's like, you know, she probably wouldn't have taken her, or, you know, taken what she took from herself, you know, as opposed to where the position she's in, and sort of like, you know, I guess also how much her, you know, I guess if she really liked doing what she was doing, her career depended on this kind of thing. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It was August
I just don't think she was in a good state mentally. You know, obviously if you do that kind of thing, generally, I mean, you don't just do that over internet comments unless there is something more, probably.
Wow, we should have started with this. I've got a lot on this actually, but yeah. So I read into that when it first happened. It was like 2 years ago or something like that.
We lost a baddie.
I mean, kinda.
Hey, you know, and that was at least a based take, because at the time I was like, man, she was really showing it to them before she did that. You know, I mean, for real, like when she just made the statement, I was like, you know, what a good statement. Well, you know, okay, look, well, let me not put it like that. What a bold and brave thing to say of somebody, you know, because it takes courage to be able to say something that people don't like. You know, I'm just saying in general, as a general statement.
I'm so on the edge of whether or not I should just rip the Band-Aid off and just kind of go full uncensored, within reason, on like the takes, and also like how much of this is actually getting us like no traction and stuff like that, or would hurt us later on. So I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, it is wait, can't like tradcons get away with saying that though?
Yeah. Daily Wire guys, I mean, come on, you watch them, they're like, well, you know, marriage is between a man and a woman, and, you know, anything else is not the same. It's not marriage, you know. And I mean, also they just say like homosexuality is a sin and so on and so forth.
Okay, I'm a Christian. I converted just now. Homosexuality is bad. Anyway, hold
up.
There we go. All right. Like I said, this is a Christian. The first time I said it was a Christian podcast, it was not a joke. It was just in the process of becoming one. So when I use that before to deflect from another point, that was still valid. Anyway, it is against my religion to be gay, therefore it's bad. Anyway, moving on. So, and this is like a trend too, by the way, with all these kind of porn stars and whatnot. a lot of these women aren't capable of doing this work and keeping a stable mind. So they either have, one, a personality disorder, or two, they have to cope by taking copious amounts of drugs and alcohol. And you see this in strippers too. Like, this is like a fucking like it's not stereotype, it's another thing. There's another word for it, but it basically means the same thing. Anyway, it's like a stereotype. And her in particular, I remember I read about it because like, oh shit, that was kind of a base take. But anyway, and she was right, by the way. Like, if you're a gay guy, the STDs are going to be way worse for you.
Mm-hmm.
But
the worms, man, the worms.
And they don't. I really wish he could have explained that a bit more, but whatever. Anyway,
okay. Well, there is an instance of Brett Weinstein talking to Joe Rogan on the last episode they did, I believe, where people are saying it's denialism as far as what he's saying, but he's bringing up the case as far as what is able to actually cause the latter issue, as opposed to the necessarily the having the prior one just as something in your system. And I think they mentioned even like the party drugs and stuff having an effect.
Well, like MDMA.
Well, I honestly, first thing that went to my mind was like coke. I don't know, like maybe they're thinking about it from like an immune perspective of like what the drugs are doing, is what I was getting from it. But I had only listened to a few minutes of it.
It could make. I wouldn't be surprised. But either way, from what I remember reading, she was already on like antidepressants. So she was like already not in a great spot, which I mean, like wow. Obviously.
And pretty much any antidepressant these days in SSRI. So, I mean, yeah, increased serotonin level in the brain. Yeah, it does cause you to do some drastic things.
Hey, doctor. Sometimes I feel sad when I am not able to get my Subway sandwich on time. Oh, here you go. Just take some SSRIs. It'll be fine. I'm not getting a cut from this, I promise. Anyway, but yeah, she was on that. So that's probably what motivated her to do that. Now,
yeah. It come with self-harm. It come with self-harm.
It come with suicidal shit. Fuck.
You can censor that one.
It come with self-deletion thoughts. It come with self-deletion thoughts. Anyway, I was at this. Fuck. I bit my tongue and it hurts a lot.
Nice.
Anyway.
I mean, dates over here.
I'm not even eating anything. I'm just talking too fast. But anyway. I was at some dude's house. We were like hanging out after we went to like eat and like gym and stuff like that. So we were just chilling at this guy's house, and we're going through his YouTube or whatever. And for whatever reason, this was in his history. It was Violet Myers, who has like a YouTube channel, and she's like a porn star or whatever. And she was talking about, she was trying to be like a, I don't even know, like a vlogger, I guess, because it was nothing about her porn. And
like Shane Dawson.
Yeah, she was doing like a Q&A or whatever. And it was funny too, because she was like talking about, hey guys, if you want to see me do any other stuff, just let me know in the comments. And except if you mean like,
oh, we've seen you do it all.
And the entire time, me and my one buddy were like just joking left and right about all of her answers. But Jesus Christ. But anyway, she was like, if you ask for any kind of like raunchy stuff, I'm gonna ban you, so don't ask for that. I mean my buddy are like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? This is the only reason people know you, like, at all. Yeah. The only reason people would be tuning into your YouTube channel is because they know you from this. Like, what? But anyway,
you remember Mia Khalifa saying like she got approached in public and somebody like said something about like, like he wanted a picture with her, and but she was at a table with some people and she was like, oh no, I don't want to do that. But the guy's girlfriend that was with him like allegedly said like, oh, something about like her face being covered in cum, and that's why she doesn't want to do it with him. And then she said that made her like cry.
Wait, so say that again, because I don't think I caught that entirely.
Yeah, so Mia Khalifa sitting at a table with some people having a discussion about something. I don't know if it was a business thing or what. Guy comes up. I don't even like saying business when it's like a woman's involved. But anyway, a guy comes up and he says like, hey, can I have a picture with you? He's with his girlfriend, and she says, no, I'm having this, meeting, so I would appreciate if you just didn't ask right now. Then his girlfriend says some shit like about her face being covered in nut, and that's why she doesn't want to do it with him or something, like the picture, so the guy leaves, but the girlfriend's comment is apparently what made like Mia Khalifa upset, and like it made her like cry or something. I think she was talking to like with Anthony Padilla. You remember the guy from Smosh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he does like this show where he has people on and he had her on and she was telling him about this and he was like, "No, man, that sounds shameful. Like, why would people bring that to you?"
I remember that because when she was telling the story, he was like sitting there and you could tell that he was using all of his willpower not to crack a smile or anything. Oh wow, that's really unfortunate, bro. I would be dead. But anyway, on the Violet Myers video again, shit, I completely lost my train of. Oh yeah, the entire time, she was on something. She was so out of it. Either that, or she was so exhausted from whatever she was doing. Which I mean, we know what she was doing. Like, it was like if you've ever had someone that said ADHD and then they took medication for it. It was like that. Where they're like lifeless, basically. Like they're still responding, they're still like alive, obviously, but there's nobody home, basically, is what it seems like.
Oh, well, that's clearly a fixed person, ready to be reintegrated in society.
Right. I mean, she's definitely integrated into society. For sure.
Into Black society, especially.
One of the questions were all like food. She's like, "Oh my god, all these questions we're answering are about food," and then I didn't even catch it till my buddy said something. One of the questions was like, "Shit, what was it? Do you prefer Five Guys or In-N-Out?"
What was her answer?
I don't even remember. I didn't give a shit. But my buddy was like,
"Did she point it out, or did she not even realize?"
I don't think she did not realize.
She was also out of it. So I mean, obviously, first of all, she is, a woman in porn, but also she was just out of it on medication. So it's two things that are combating her ability to recognize this.
I didn't catch it at first. My buddy's like, I don't think she understood the question. I was like, wait, hold on. But yeah. And here's the thing too. Let me get a little conspiratorial here. Did she come up with the idea of starting a YouTube channel on her own? Or was it something that somebody said, hey, it would be a good idea if you start a YouTube channel? Like, think about it. Think about how many ex-porn stars or current porn stars are now becoming social media personalities. What does that do to the climate of society long term? Think about that. Oh, now it became like, oh, you know this porn star? What does that say about you? Now it's becoming, oh, you know this porn star? Oh, yeah, I saw her vlog on Instagram. Now, think about this. What is the point of having multiple different things? Like, if you are, let's say, an actor, why do you have an Instagram? You have an Instagram because you want to promote the thing that makes you the most money, which would be your movies. Or if you're an artist, like a musician, you have an Instagram because you want to promote the idea of the star or the personality or whatever that would make someone feel connected even more to the music. So put that in perspective of a porn star. Porn star, they're definitely making most of their money from the movies, not the YouTube. Now, I mean, there's also some accounts of
films.
Whatever.
Adult films.
Fuck, I lost my train of thought entirely.
We could have just used that as the term throughout the first 10 minutes, just adult film star and adult films.
Yeah, but
Here,
it's so
let me give you sound bites to replace it. Adult film star.
Yeah, let me do that.
Adult films.
Adult film star. Woman of adult films.
Yeah,
adult industry females.
Wait, what?
Adult industry females.
Okay, I think we're good.
Anyway, my point was
slice those up, put them in the front.
Yeah,
we're good.
Some Daft Punk shit.
Yeah, sampling.
But yeah, so even if they're not like, there's the whole thing about porn stars don't get shit. Whatever, porn stars don't get paid enough because of they don't get like royalties or something like that. They get paid for the shoot and that's it. Which even then they're still getting paid a lot. Shut the fuck up. But then, like, the other thing is you have OnlyFans too, so you can make a ton on that. And especially if you're already an established name, then you're pretty much guaranteed to make a lot of money with that.
But why wouldn't people just watch the free stuff?
Well, I ask that every day whenever I'm talking about OnlyFans in general. Like, but anyway.
But if it's specifically for that person, they already got free content.
Yeah, but then like the OnlyFans thing, you market it as exclusive. And let's be honest, if you're a Coomer, you're not going to be logical to begin with.
How do they make their money, Coomers?
Well, I mean, this is kind of where I'm going, but basically, my point is, to wrap this all up, is if you're making money off the actual adult films and also the side thing of the OnlyFans, and maybe even off of like promotional clips on like TikTok, I guess. I don't know. The whole point of having like the other stuff like Instagram, YouTube, whatever, would be to put you more in the mainstream, to make it more normalized. Which, I mean, it's what's happening. You're seeing it now and then. OnlyFans, like everybody talks about it now. It's not like some niche thing that you've never heard about. It's like in the open. Everybody knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like every big female YouTuber for the most part has at least flirted with or is in some form of sex work on the side, which becomes their main form of income now instead of like Twitch streaming or like YouTube or whatever.
Mm.
So, I mean, it's pretty obvious what's happening here. Now, what happens when you have that? Now more people think, oh, well, there's nothing wrong. It's just porn. And then you get people like that are actually respectable, like CEOs, shit like that. People that are lawyers, whatever, have like actual income-driven jobs that are respectable. Now they're thinking, it's not a big deal. Let me just watch some shit on the side. Let me pay this girl something for like an exclusive video.
Yeah. Have you seen that Onion video where it's like, I don't want my what I do outside of work to be reflective of my character. If I'm getting dominated by a feminatrix, or what's it called, like dominatrix. I don't want that to think that I have worse leadership skills. I don't want that to make people think I have worse leadership. And then I think it was like the chick. She's like, yeah, if I'm getting tied up and like rammed in the shit like that.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't want people to think I can't be assertive in the workplace.
I didn't know the Onion made videos like that.
They used to make really good videos. I mean, and they have some, I can't remember exactly some other ones. I mean, one was like the US pretends that like ISIS took over, or I think it was Al Qaeda at the time, like took over so that they can get out of their national debt. There was one really like, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but there was something about like when you're having financial troubles, there's a certain character you're supposed to imagine. I mean, it's on YouTube. It's just, it's a hook-nosed creature that you're supposed to imagine that is causing you your financial woes. And so you just got to get, it's a person.
Whoa.
Hey, it's on YouTube.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm so confused. Anyway, did you have anything more you wanted to say on that?
No.
All right, I guess we're ending on the porn bad topic, I guess.
I'm trying to see if I can find the video because I was able to find it before. Yeah, they still got it. Overcome stress by visualizing it as a greedy, hook-nosed race of creatures.
Are you gonna can we? No, I guess we can't.
We're not going to review it on here. But if you in your own time want to go on YouTube, it was uploaded 13 years ago and has 2.1 million views.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 2.1 million people like that, I guess, or maybe just watched it. There might have been some people that didn't like it, but still. Anyway, it caught some attention, Point being, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, that is, I suppose, what we'll end it on. Do you have any like anecdotes or something real quick?
Yes, because I'm not going to end it on a topic revolving
we can't
around...
let them win.
Yeah, no. No, bro, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. Jesus Christ. So I went to church the other day, and I had a very good time talking to my local pastor about how much I want to spread the word of God to the non-believers peacefully. And I think it would be in our best interest if the U.S. got involved, not just in Israel, but in every other country within a general vicinity, and teach them the good word peacefully, so that we no longer have to deal with all these terrorist countries that are just attacking a Western people for no reason whatsoever. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I took you seriously when you were saying you went to church. I'm like, what the fuck? This guy went to church. Now,
hey, I am serious. I believe this is what the U.S. is called to do.
Here's what we'll really end it on. Here's what we got. So there's a guy at a bar, and he basically says, he's already been drinking a few beers, but he asked the bartender, because he sees this glass, like a jar of hundreds of dollar bills behind him. He's like, what's with this money out in the open here? What are you holding that for? And the bartender tells him, well, those are some people that try out this challenge we do here at the bar, but nobody's been able to pass, so they just have to pay in the 100. He's like, what exactly is it? I'm sure it's not that bad. And so the bartender says, well, first you actually have to, drink this bottle of vodka right here. And the guy goes, oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot. And he says, all right, is that it though? And he's like, well, actually, there's a couple things you have to do after that. So first of all, out in the back, there's this dog that has this tooth that it needs to get pulled. Right. And it's really bad. No vet wants to go near it. It's a very aggressive dog. We don't even know if we can get it out, but we got to do it. It's the bar's dog, whatever. And also upstairs, there's an old lady. She's up there. She's never had an orgasm in her life. We actually need somebody to service her. And so the guy says, what, what's going on here with that? What the fuck? He's like, well, not everybody's up to the challenge. And the guy goes, all right, whatever. And so he just keeps drinking there for a little bit, gets a little drunk off some beer. And he says, you know what, bartender, present me that vodka. And the bartender, he collects the 100 from the guy, gives him the bottle. Guy drinks all the way through it. I mean, he just takes it, right? And
How
so
big of a bottle are we talking?
Huh?
How big of a bottle?
I don't know. It's maybe like some 500 milliliters or maybe 750, something like that. I don't know. But anyway, point being, now the guy, he's like, all right, let's do this. And he goes outside. And so, he's going to go take care of the dog. People hear from the bar just like this yelping and barking and just, it becomes more and more after the aggressiveness. It just becomes like a pathetic whimper. And so the guy comes in, he comes back in, everybody's looking at him. He's covered in scratches. It looks like he got bit. And he's like, all right, now where's the old lady with the tooth?
What?
Bruh.
What?
That's it.
I don't get it.
That's okay. The audience will get it. All right.
Oh. Oh.
It's a thinker right there. Now, okay. Anyway. Yeah. That is it for today. Do you want to end it on that? Is that it? Maybe you want to say something else about your Lord and Savior?
Yeah. So I fucking hate trad cons, and I think they should be, hold on.
So you're a progressive Christian.
Yeah. Okay. I'm the best kind of Christian.
Yes. A liberal Christian?
Yeah, that was a joke. I can't really end it on that. I'm trying to think of something that I can actually go deal with. I was going to say, by the way, the entire time I was imagining that guy's a bear because I was thinking of the big paws joke.
Yeah. You saw the one where it was like the fucking, I forgot the name of the piece, but it was like playing over like a bear attacking some guy.
Was it Claire de Lune?
Yeah. And so basically like it was like the bear like lunging at a guy in slow motion, and you see like every individual's frame just as the bear.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. So I mean that joke goes, I mean it's the classic one. It's basically a bear walks into a bar and he tells the bartender, I'd like a shot of whiskey and some honey, please. And the bartender's like, what's with the big paws? And so basically in the video, I mean, I'm just explaining the joke. It's basically a black bear that's like fucking like lunging like from the bottom of a hill upward at some guy that's walking. He looks like a hiker or something. It's just like Claire de Lune playing, and then it's like just basically it's just slow motion. Every single frame you see, it's like the bear just like really slow. Very good stuff. Very high quality entertainment.
I never thought that I'd have Claire de Lune as a meme song format. I've been a lot of those. Lacrimosa too, from the Mozart Requiem.
Well, Claire de Lune, like that's been pretty popularly used. Like Filthy Frank, you remember use that?
No, I was never a big Filthy Frank watcher.
You weren't?
No, I watched like towards the end.
Oh. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
But then it became like he just ended it very poorly. It sucked. He just put out this book that was incoherent. He didn't really finish the series. I wanted an epic finale.
He's got them birth control women chasing after him.
I don't give a shit about that.
He does.
I wanted to see the other thing. That he kind of, well, because he's Asian, it kind of reminds me of that other guy. Have you seen him? Where it's like the guy that gets the noodles and he puts the Hennessy in it and he comes up to the microphone and he's like, I called that bitch up for some sookie, and then she's like, he's like, I fucked so much pussy, I'm
yeah.
bussy. Yeah. And he's like, pussy aroma all up in the sofa.
That guy's got the weirdest fucking voice ever.
I mean, it looks like he's actually like, trying to make a high pitched voice, because there are rappers that do that, like Baby Keem.
No, I literally said
he's
that.
He's Kendrick Lamar's nephew, I think, or cousin or something. It's one or the other. Nephew, probably. I guess he's his older cousin.
I fucking hate that guy.
Anyway, they have a song together where Baby Keem has his voice. He's like, yeah, like it's like very high pitched. It's like, I want to fucking tone on some projects. And then, Kendrick's in the back's like, he's Baby Keem.
He's Baby Keem.
We are not the Waynes.
Yeah, Kendrick kind of does that too on Good Kid, Mad City. It's like that weird voice, cracky voice.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was gonna say there was one time when we can end it on this, I guess, because this reminded me of that, where I was meeting with some boys from my old homeland, my old urban settlement before I moved here, and because like one of the guys was going to the university that we were going to, and so we hung out for a while, and then we met up with at his dorm, which ironically enough he was sharing a dorm too. So and apparently like later on he told us, yeah, my roommate didn't like even know we were here. So I don't know how, but we were loud and rambunctious the entire night. But anyway, we went back to his place. It was like 4 of us and like another guy and his girlfriend, but they left early on anyway, so it didn't really matter. But we were at his place and we were like drinking, and I have no idea what the ratio was for drink to mixer was. So I basically poured a full like the size of a cup you'd get in like a large like to go meal from a fast food place. I poured like half of that with Captain Morgan and the other half with like Dr. Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically undrinkable. So we basically
half and half like, was undrinkable. I remember the guy that smoked the crack that was fucking like living with me for some time. He would make me a fucking drink where it's like 95% fucking Captain Morgan and like the 5% Mountain Dew and told me to drink it.
Yeah, but how much of a glass was it?
Probably like an 8 ounce to 10 ounce glass.
It was way more than 8 ounces. It was
anyway, it's not like I only drank one of those anyway, but yes, I mean, that is what I started off with.
Point is, it was a lot of liquor to like mixer ratio. But anyway, so we basically had to kind of share it, like put in like different cups and shit like that. Cause like, yeah, I kind of fucked it up. So we spent like a good while drinking and like hanging out in his dorm or whatever. And at one point I was like, shit, I'm hungry. So this is before I had a good diet too, but he had these like spicy ramen noodles. And I was like, shit, that sounds kind of good right now. So what I did was I made the noodles. And then what I did is I poured a ton of rum in it and mixed it around. And at the time I was like, this shit is good. This kind of works. And but then like my other friends, I'm like, yo, bro, you guys should try this. And they tried it and they're like, bro, this is fucking awful. What are you talking about? And
yeah, the alcohol flavor wasn't messing with you?
What?
The alcohol flavor wasn't disgusting?
No, not at all. Like I could taste it, but it was almost like a hint at best.
Yeah.
But they were just
it was like a spiced rum mixed with like the flavors of the noodles. So I could actually see that working.
It tasted pretty good, but like later on, like the next morning and everything, like, bro, why did you do that? That was fucking disgusting. And I was like, bro, it tasted good. But apparently not. No.
Wow. Impressive. Very nice.
I've only had that happen to me once, actually.
Well, the thing is, alcohol.
It was with beer too. So beer
alcohol is like an endotoxin for the body, and like you're gonna harm the actual gut. So I don't know how that's not happened with you ever, but I've definitely had it to where like that has happened to me for sure. Next morning, it's not like multiple times, but like at least the first time I go to the bathroom in the morning, just it happens. Not every time. And not even recently. Ever since I stopped doing grain alcohols, I mean, a lot of the negative effects of alcohol have like just ceased to exist.
Grains fuck you up, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, wait, you're still doing the like rum and pineapple?
I mean, if I like go out, but I don't even drink frequently. Like, I mean, I've had like in the past, like while I've only had like one Angry Orchard, like as of late, like in weeks or more.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's fair because I mean that's kind of what I do. Like,
And my
I
friend that drinks the most is actually cutting alcohol right now. So it's like, even when I go out with him, the guy with the beard, it's like he's not even drinking now. And he was like the drinker.
Is he like? Did he like officially call it off, or is he just like I don't have time for it?
He said he's cutting back. Like, I guess he's trying to lose like some like of his belly.
See, how much of that
like, some,
is
like,
really
love-handle weight.
attributed to alcohol, though?
Hmm?
How much of that is really attributed to alcohol, though?
I mean, at least personally, I know that for a fact that like it is the case because like I remember gaining weight when I was drinking like I was end of 2022. I was actually gaining body fat, and I mean, how much it actually is of the alcohol, I can't give like a definite answer on it, but I guess the fact that like it is messing with the gut is probably the issue. That it's like actually, and also like with the liver, like if the liver's improperly processing it, I mean that also is kind of like what causes, you know, like the beer belly and all that. So I mean, it's not even necessarily the effect that like you are consuming a level of calories that is like causing it. It's you are slowing down processes within the body that are conducive to metabolism and thus
the bloating and all that.
Yeah.
Is he still doing that the carnivore diet thing?
No, so okay. I don't know if we talked about this, but like basically we went out with him like when he was probably like a month or so into carnivore. And then we told him like, because we were eating places where they didn't necessarily just have meat dishes because it's hard to find that. And we were like, man, just, you know, just pick something from the menu, you know, we'll be fine. You know, it's like, you know, you can go back to it, you know, because pretty much, I don't know if he was trying to maintain the ketosis or if he even knew that he was in ketosis. I don't even know if he was in ketosis. I think he was just doing extremely low carb because he was still eating like some breaded chicken. He would say like, oh, well, it's from PDQs, but it's still like, you know, it's still you know, chicken, you know, or he would drink some beer, you know, still. And so like, I don't even know how much he actually was in carnivore or in ketosis when he was doing carnivore, you know, but, and he wasn't eating any organ meat. So I don't even like know where he was getting a lot of his vitamins from. And plus, you know, I'm just talking about the issues of like what he was doing, but you know, also like he wasn't really eating like gelatin, I assume. So it's like, he's just getting a shit ton of like methionine, you know, it's just all the muscle meat. So I don't know. Point being, it's like I don't think he was very knowledgeable on what he was doing. He was just pretty much like, oh well, I heard Joe Rogan talk about it or something is probably what his argument was for it. And you know, he would kind of say like, oh well, you know, I can do this or that. So apparently PDQs and the beer was okay, but then when we tell him, hey, just pick something from the menu for today, that tells him like, oh, I can't do carnivore anymore because you guys messed me up. It's like it seems like he was looking for a reason not to be doing it.
Yeah.
But then like I told him about the issue. It's like I was telling him about grains and all that. I'm like, yeah, I don't even limit sugar anymore. I just like stopped eating like grains and like, you know, like all these other foods. And then he's like, oh, okay. Like, you know, but he told me like at one point he was doing fucking like intermittent fasting to where like he'd only eat in a 1 hour window per day because some guy told him to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't do it now, but like, I was like, why is he doing this? You know, I'm pretty sure cutting out alcohol will probably be the best thing he's done so far for his health out of everything he's changed or out of everything he's tried.
How similar to our diet is his?
No, he's Italian. He eats like pasta and stuff.
Yeah, that's not helping.
I think he just eats what his mom makes and what he gets from like outside, which is like Cuban food and stuff. And like public subs.
See, like I like cheat on like certain things, you know, every now and then. Like after I finish this, I'm probably gonna order like a cheeseburger or something like that because I don't feel like cooking. But the person shit, what was I saying? But like, I mean, that's not like where I'm like, oh well, I fucked up. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Right,
like,
right. Yeah, because even if I do something that like, I mean, I have eaten like bread ever since like switching. I mean, like it's not even that I won't eat sourdough bread because I ate a decent amount of sourdough bread and I was fine and I didn't even feel the effects from like eating like bread from like restaurants. And it was like fresh sourdough bread and all that. So it's low gluten. And it really like didn't affect my gut negatively at all, from what I could feel. But and if anything, it gave me the nourishment I needed at the time. But point being, Yeah, I've the last time I've ate like actual like hamburger bun at a restaurant was probably like October or November of like last year, and it did kind of fuck me up as far as like gas and all that and bloating. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore.
I don't get that with burgers for some reason.
I don't get
I'll
it with
get it.
burgers. I get it with the like for some reason the burgers when I eat them with the bun I get issues.
No,
It's not
that's
even
what
the
I'm
burgers.
saying. I'm saying like if I don't eat burgers without the bun generally, and I don't get it with that. But if I eat like any other form of bread, that's when it becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm eating like a sandwich, for example, which I don't know why I'd ever eat a sandwich that isn't like either a gyro or a burger anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's anything like that, then yeah, I'll get an issue. Or if it's like bread on the side, I'll get an issue. If it's pasta, that kind of shit. Yeah.
Ever since switching, I think more of the cheating. If I'm to say I've done cheating, it's mostly only been like, I mean, and not even like in that much of frequency, but like the gyros that we've eaten, like those were good as hell. And like, you know, honestly, I really love the way the wrap tastes, even if like, you know, still not great, but you know, because of the grains, but it just,
I think they add extra sugar to it.
Yeah, that's probably it. If I were to switch to something else, like as far as like to wrap my gyros in, I mean the pancake that I made with like the cane sugar, the egg, and then like the sweetened condensed milk might actually serve as a decent wrap, like for the gyro meat, even though it is like sweeter. But that's kind of the point too. I mean the gyro is I could probably put like stack the wraps, and then it'll be like thick as well, like the gyro bread. But gyro meat in general is by itself like it just tastes so fucking good.
It does. It really does.
I want to be able to like, how do they even make that? I want to make that.
You need like a thing to like rotate it. But by the way, I was hanging out with my buddies on a Saturday, and I went to a place and ordered just gyro meat and grape leaves because one, I was being really cheap, and two, I didn't want a gyro.
You said grape leaves?
Yeah.
What is that?
You don't know what grape leaves are? Tomades?
I haven't heard of this.
Basically, it's like white rice with lemon juice and I think olive oil and like some other herbs that's mixed together, and then you wrap them in like the leaves of a grape plant, and then you like cook them for a bit so the rice gets soft.
And you eat the leaf, or no? That's just the wrap for cooking.
No, you eat them like they're wrapped up. It's almost like an egg roll. Egg roll.
Egg roll.
It come with
grape leaf. It come with grape leaf. Can I get a grape leaf with that?
Going to the Greek restaurant. Be like, but yeah.
How may I help you? How may I help you?
Okay. But yeah, so I had that. Like I used the grape leaves because it's rice, white rice, as a. I gotta look it up. I think it is. Yeah, I think I looked it up before. It is white rice. I use that as a carb, and I just got like the gyro meat by itself, and it came on like a bed of vegetables for like garnish, and I just threw all those out, and it was good. It was nice.
Yeah.
Nice pre-workout meal.
Nice. I myself am getting a little hungry just talking about this food.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go do that. I think we shall go consume some food of our choosing, and yeah. It's been a good episode. You know, we learned today that, you know, we've learned things about gays and women that do adult film stars. We've learned about Mexicans, you know, and I think that's it, right?
I've learned that if you say you're a Christian, you can say whatever you want.
We've learned about religion. There we go. All right, guys. Remember that the podcast ever is the only podcast.
Maybe I should convert to Islam. Then I can really say what I want.
The podcast ever is the only podcast to ever exist. You guys are the podcasters because you watch this show. And you know, the only other content that exists is long form discussions, which are maybe not, you know, they're not any, there's no distinction between that and the ones that are not recorded. So they're not even worth your time. Yeah, this has been the podcast.
The podcast ever.
Goodbye.
Sayonara.